The Nats were down and out last night. Adam LaRoche provided the spark to get them even. And the stage was set for the Buffalo to roam. Ramos to right field. That's going to push Polanco back. He can't get it. It's in the bullpen. The Nationals win. Tonight, Doug Fister looks to keep the win streak going and finish a sweep against the Pirates. Beautiful day at the ballpark. Hot day. The Pirates and the Nats. Washington going for a sweep, and it's William Howard Taft bobblehead Racing President's Day at the ballpark. Everything lined up for the Nats to have a good afternoon. And let's talk about the trending of this regular season. Started out a little bit rough. April, May, the Nats kind of trying to figure out who they were. 4 over 500 end of April. 4 under in May. And then as the weather warmed up, so did the ball club. And now 5 over. And the National League ranks second best one-loss record, best percentage in the league so far. So, FP, it's Doug Fister today. Who would you rather give the ball to right now if you're the Nats and you need to win a big game?
Well, it is a big game. The Nats have never won a season series against the Pirates in 10 years. So if they win today, they do win the season series. Obviously, they stay at 6 games ahead at least. But Doug Fister takes the mound. And, yeah, he's slowly but surely becoming the Nats ace, just getting out there working fast. He'll be pounding the Pirates hitters with that sinker that we've been used to. But you talk about the Nats and what they've done this year. 67 days in first place, 56 all by themselves. They're going to stay there today, and Doug Fister, the right man for the job.
Yeah, 17 starts, great ERA. Adam LaRoche got the Nats some defensive momentum last night with that 3-6-3 double play ball. Then, when things were really looking dark, he was able to tie the ball game. LaRoche now 18 homers, 66 RBIs. He's hitting .333 in August. He's hurt his ex-team, the Buccos, a lot this year. And Jimmy some walk-off excitement lately at Nationals Park, and here comes Doug Fister as the Nats try to get a 6-game winning streak for the first time this year. They're at 5 for the second time, and it's warming up. 87 at the ballpark. Visit trainsearch.com. Find your local Train Comfort Specialist dealer. It's hard to stop a train. Really hard. Nats are 68 and 53. The Braves play the A's tonight in the Sunday night game. Here's the Pirates lineup. And the Nats have put a stop to the top of the lineup. But Starling Marte is 4 for 8 with a home run and 3 RBIs. He's 11 for his last 29. 6 batted in his last 8 games. And doing a good job for the Pirates no matter where Clint Hurdle bats him. Doug Fister, 3 career starts against the Bucks, 1-1 with a 1.47.
Man, see the Arsenal fastball, slider, curveball change. In, out, up, down, slow, hard. He's going to throttle you all kinds of different ways, and he's going to work fast and throw a lot of strikes. Look for the Pirates to be aggressive tonight early.
Gregory Polanco takes strike 1. We're underway at 5:06. Not the greatest time of the day to be a hitter. Shadows already between the third base line and the pitcher's mound, and a ball out of play to the left side.
Carp, I totally disagree with your statement right there. I was a tremendous 5 o'clock hitter.
That's during what they call BP?
Yes. It's the best time to hit in my mind.
Upstairs for the strikeout, and Doug Fister goes right to work attacking a Pirate hitter.
Well, there's up. You know, down with the first 2. Elevate. You get guys looking down for that sinker. You change their eye line, throw a fastball by him. So a 3-pitch gets your glove to start this one up.
16-year veteran Andy Fletcher has the plate. Mike Malinsky at first. Tom Woodring second base. And the crew chief Mark Wegner over there at third. Josh Harrison. So Clint Hurdle took his 2 top-of-the-order guys and flip-flopped him today. Polanco in the series now 0 for 8 with a walk, and Josh Harrison is 1 for 9. He is 1 for 3 with a home run career against Doug Fister, who was evidently working a little too quickly for Mr. Harrison.
We saw that with Tanner Roark the other night. The Pirates very deliberate, trying to slow down Roark's tempo, and it looks like they're going to try to do the same today to Doug Fister.
Well, Tanner Roark worked pretty quickly, and now he's got Doug Fister to watch every 5th day and learning the craft as well. Right field's the Sun field this time of the day. Michael Taylor has it for the second out, and that'll bring in Neil Walker.
Well, Michael Taylor in right today. Bryce Harper moves back to left field as Drupal Cabrera gets back to second base. And everything else the same. The Buffalo behind the plate again for the 3rd game. And Michael Taylor in right field.
Yeah, Wilson Ramos, 4 extra hours of rest from a usual 1 o'clock Sunday game, and Matt Williams gets him right back in there against the Pirates.
Got to ride the Buffalo. He's hot.
Yep. Neil Walker in this series, 1 for 5. And we mentioned last night he's been having some back problems. They're trying to get him back slowly. Don't want to play him on consecutive days too much. Although he did come into the game last night. Played second base for a couple of innings and got 1 AB. He will pop it up. Desmond out using his bare hand as shade right in front of Bryce Harper. And a 1-2-3 very quick. Top of the first for Doug Fister. That's the way he works. Here come the Nats. By PNC Bank for the Achiever in you, and by Charles Schwab. Own your tomorrow. Well, that's the Nats were hoping to do after they walked off the Pirates here last night. Dramatic come from behind win. It'll be pretty much the regular lineup against a right-handed pitcher out there with Span, Cabrera, Rendon, LaRoche, Desmond, and Bryce Harper, who's 11 for his last 37. And in this series, 2 hits, 2 RBIs. He's been on base 4 times, and Bryce is warming things up. Mentioned Wilson Ramos back in there today, and as is the rookie Michael Taylor. Edinson Volquez started his career with Texas back in 05. Stops in Cincinnati, San Diego, and the Dodgers since then.
Yeah, traded from Texas to the Reds for Josh Hamilton. And you look at the repertoire, fastball 93 miles an hour. He's got a good heater. It can get up 95, 96 at times. Curveball 80, changeup 84.
"31 years of age, signed as a free agent last December 13th by the Pirates. DENARD Spans 1 for 4 with a couple of walks against him.
I think the game plan is you got to get him in the strike zone. 51 walks on the year. That's second on the Pirates behind Francisco Liriano has 54.
Yeah, not the strikeout guy he used to be. 95 Ks, 51 walks in 140 innings. I mean, he's had over 200 strikeouts in an inning in a year before. That was in 08 when he won 17 games for the Reds. And a 1-1 to Span. Inside, and Russell Martin made a funny catch on that. One final in the division today. Marlins won their ball game. They're back to 500 at 62-62. They hammered the Diamondbacks, who will be on their way here shortly. And the Mets dropped a close ball game, so they're 59-66. Since the All-Star break, DENARD Span pretty much unstoppable. I mean, the numbers just keep on coming. He's hitting .351 here, best of any home hitter in the league, .311 against right-handers, and third in the league in hits.
Well, that bat he had last night, left on left, the base hit to right before the LaRoche home run, one of the keys to the ball game.
That was a breaking ball off speed by Volquez, and DENARD's thrown out by Neil Walker.
Here's your Pirates defense. Snyder, Marte, Polanco the outfield, Harrison, Alvarez the left side of the infield, Walker, Davis the right side, and Russell Martin behind the plate. And Neil Walker back in the lineup today.
They will get Andrew McCutchen back against the Braves on Tuesday. Here's Asdrubal Cabrera, who in the series is 1 for 3 with a base on balls. He's been on base in 9 consecutive games. Pedro Alvarez on the grass at third, creeping in. That ball hit hard. Deep right center, hooking away from Marte, but he'll get there anyway. Starling Marte covering lots of ground for the second out.
Well, he had trouble seeing that ball. He stood there for a click before he started to go for it. So good speed outruns a bad jump, and you look at him kind of squinting in there to home plate. When you have those Oakleys on, they're effective against the sun, but when you're looking into the zone, the strike zone as an outfielder, it makes it even darker. So it's the catch-22 as an outfielder. Yeah, you need them right now when the ball gets out in the sun, but in the strike zone, when you have sunglasses on, at this time of day in the shadows, it's hard to see contact. And that's
Anthony Rendon takes a strike.
I'm about to sound old and tell you that I used to wear flips out there because I like to see into the strike zone. And as the ball was hit, I'd flip them down and go get it.
.02. That time, Volquez got the inside edge. In this series, Anthony on base 3 times. He scored 2 runs. Continues to lead the league in that category with 84. Target away on 0-2. He jacks one to left. Volquez got way too much of the plate on that 0-2 pitch. And 2 Nats in a row have hit the ball hard.
Well, if you make a mistake, Anthony Rendon's going to get you. He's just that good of a hitter. You know, the Pirates have done a nice job pounding Anthony in this series with fastballs, but you see that was supposed to be down and away. Left it out over the plate. Rendon singles to left, and there goes the no-hitter.
Adam LaRoche, the most hits by any Nat against this right-hander. 6 for 16 with a home run against Volquez. The big shift is on, and he drops in the backdoor breaking ball. In August, .333, 5 of his 18 home runs, 11 RBIs, 10 walks, 14 runs scored. Adam LaRoche has warmed it up.
Well, he's covering everything. I mean, 95 right there in the inner half. And what do I mean by that? You pitch him away, he's going deep the other way like he did in New York. You pitch him in left on left last night, he's covering that fastball in the inner half. And I think his first hit last night was on a curveball. So, you know, he's covering hard in, hard away, covering soft. It naturally become a tough out when you do that.
That is a wild pitch. Martin has no idea where it is. Rendon round second base as Russell finds it, back by Ian Desmond, who's on deck.
Russell Martin with a very curious look on his face right there, and he's thinking, you know what? We need a sign for our pitchers to throw it in the air. In this series, I've seen more wild pitches and more balls in the dirt than I've seen in a 3-game series all year.
Yeah, big wild pitch last night. Helped Bryce Harper advance. Maybe change Wilson Ramos' approach at the plate a little bit before he got that game-winning double. And a 1-2 delivery. Officially in the series, your point well taken. They've only been charged with 2 wild pitches. Russell Martin's probably blocked 20 others. He's been amazing back there.
I mean, we're up to umpteen the other night, so whatever that is.
Well, you got to get there before you can get to 20.
That's right.
2-2 to LaRoche, who's just out of the top 10 in the league in RBIs. Great take on a close pitch. 3-2.
Well, that might have been a strike. Adam LaRoche might have caught a break. Let's see.
Wicked breaking ball. Looked like it got the bottom of the zone. Wonder if it's as tough to call a curveball as it is to hit one in these conditions at 5:18 local time.
Well, early on, umpires will get buckled by a curveball too when they haven't seen it. You can lock up an umpire if you got a good one. Well, now he's seen it, knows how it's going to break. But you can give up on it if it starts high.
3-2. Crowd clapping for a run here. Looking to break on top in a possible sweep game this evening. And LaRoche will stay alive. Let's go inside the numbers with STG Inc. Adam LaRoche, of course, played for the Pirates. Booed unmercifully there as a Nat when he first came to our ball club. And against old ball clubs like the Pirates, he's on a pretty stout list.
He's really the only one in that shot that looks like a Pirate, though.
Well, they're the ones walking the plank when he comes up lately. And the 3-2 with 2 outs. Takes it in the dirt. What a good at bat. Adam LaRoche, his 64th walk of the year. Kind of interesting. Right as that pitch was about to be delivered, clouds in front of the sun, field bathed in a little shade, and he was able to see that pitch and not go after it. Now Ian Desmond. Desmond 1 for 8 against Volquez. And if we get a chance, we'll show you that one. It went a long way in the Berg back in May.
So it's not a bunt single?
Nope. May 22nd, Volquez against Blake Trinan, leading off the 4th inning, taking the ball the other way. You see Volquez just hang his head right away. He knew that one was gone. That was the only run he gave up. 3 hits in 6 innings in a 3-1 Pirates win. And Desmond waiting for that breaking ball, late for it. Another 0-2 count. He had Rendon 0-2. He had LaRoche 0-2. Lost them both.
Pretty good hack right there on the curve. He was on it.
Ian in this series 2 for 6 with a pair of walks, and he's 8 for his last 20. Another close pitch, that one up and away.
We'll try to run it back at 95. I think Russell Martin actually wanted that a little bit higher. Almost came back for a strike.
And a 1-2, nasty breaking ball. Desmond strikes out, but a long inning for Volquez at 20 pitches. Doug Fister, no such problems in the first. He threw 8 pitches, and somehow one of them missed.
And Pete's
couple of runners. Doug Fister back to work. At home, 8-1-2 in their last 11 series, and that one comes with a bit of a disclaimer. Those were the 2 Baltimore games, weeks apart because of a rainout. Pirates bullpen suddenly struggling. They have lost. Well, the bullpen has all losses. Last 4 ball games, and Doug Fister 2.01 at home with a 6-1 record. Hey, it's not like he's a stiff on the road. Away from Nationals Park, he's 6-2. He just does his thing no matter what color jersey, what color uniform he is wearing, and he takes on Russell Martin here, who's 0 for 3 against Doug with 3 strikeouts. Foul ball. Martin's going to look at his bat. It sounded like he might have broken it, and he did.
Well, if you missed the last Doug Fister start, we talked a lot about how he listens to scouting reports, but he does his own thing out there. It started when he was in AA, and he used to sit in those scouting meetings and listen to his pitching coaches say, well, if you hang this guy will hit a long way. If you do this guy will kill you. And he said those meetings sometimes make everybody sound like Babe Ruth. And he started pitching like they were all Babe Ruth. And finally, after a tough start in AA, he said, forget this. I'm going to start pitching to my strengths. I don't care what the hitter strengths are. I'm going to do my thing out there. The rest, they say, as they say, is history.
Russell Martin at odds with Andy Fletcher about that call. I've seen a lot of conflict between the Pirates and the men in blue this weekend. Close. Ball 2. Pirates start today 4.5 back in Milwaukee. The Brewers beat Clayton Kershaw last night. And a defensive swing for Martin to stay alive. And the Brewers have suddenly won 3 in a row, trying to take care of the Dodgers. again today, and they have a 7-0 lead in the 4th inning at Dodger Stadium.
This is the definition of emergency act right there. Russell Martin just trying to keep the at-bat alive. Ball chasing him on the inner half.
Right field, cruising toward the line, Taylor. Nice and shady on the field for the moment. 4 in a row by Doug Fister. A strikeout and then 3 straight fly balls.
If you're hungry tomorrow, come to Nats Park. You can crush some hot dogs, some peanuts, some popcorn, all for $1. You can get it all at Nats Dog Stands until the start of the 6th inning or while supplies last. Get your tickets by going to the website, nationals.com/specials. Get your $1 hot dogs.
Pedro Alvarez, 2 for 7, couple of RBIs in the series. He's fared pretty well against Doug Fister and loves to swing first pitch. 2 for 4 with a walk against the Nats right-hander.
I know who's going to be at the ball game tomorrow.
Me?
$1 hot dogs. Oh, Dallas Hairston.
Oh,
he's got some. He can crush about 20 of them.
We're going to find where he's sitting, huh?
Those dogs have no chance.
But Doug Fister against the Pirates on Sunday, May 25th, 5 1/3, a run on 6 hits, didn't walk anybody, struck out 4. Got the Nats a 5-2 win that salvaged a game in that 4-game set. And that one is right down the middle with 80, took a little bit off. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So he's 1-1 against Pittsburgh with a 1.47 ERA. Mercedes right in there. Inside the numbers with Pedro Alvarez from STG. Odd career numbers, 9 more errors than home runs. 24 errors this year. The guy can hack.
But you know, when you hear about his errors and what he's gone through and how hard he's worked to get out of it, you feel for the guy. You don't wish that on your worst enemy, number one. But the fact that he's really, really busting his tail to try to figure that throwing thing out he has is admirable, to say the least. When you talk to Pirates coaches, he'll be out there before everybody else working on his throws at third. And he'll be awesome before the game. And then once he gets in the game, that whole, thing starts to creep into his head, and he's had trouble, obviously.
Look at that off speed. Doug Fister standing 6'8", pulling the string from less than 60 feet away. 2 strikeouts in the game.
Well, that changeup, look at it, exactly like his fastball. You see him just rolling it off the last 3 fingers, decelerating the baseball with the same arm speed as his fastball. So putting the brakes on right there with the ball off his fingertips. Nice pitch.
I love the way the back spikes came up to block our view momentarily. Arms and legs flapping at you from a guy 6'8", 210. And he throws a strike to Starling Marte, who's been the Pirates' most dangerous hitter in this series. Ramos sets up in, and there is some outstanding jammage right there. Top of the second over, 6 in a row for Doug Fister. Here's our Honda duo. Bryce Harper, 11 for his last 37. Half of his home run total this year, and 9 RBIs. He's hot. Ramos and Taylor to follow. Nats and the Pirates. Look alive. The Metro Silver Line is now open. Here's our next five. For those with Arizona, Jordan Zimmerman, Vidal Nuno, rookie tomorrow night. Steven Strasburg, Chase Anderson Tuesday. Tanner Roark, Trevor Cahill Wednesday night. 4 o'clock game Thursday. Gio and Wade Miley before the Giants come in for 3. And of course, Johnny and Ray, Nats Extra. 30 minutes before and after every one of our ball games here on Masson. Bottom of the second, here's Bryce. He's 0 for 3 career against Volquez. Drew the big leadoff walk in the 9th inning last night. Went to second on a wild pitch. Home on the Ramos double to win it. And Bryce had been hit by a pitch previously in the ball game. Had a couple of hits here on Friday night. A first inning single for 2 runs. Not often you get a little protection when you're batting 7th. And this is a lineup where just about everybody's protecting the guy in front of him.
I had a coach from the Pirates tell me last night that they just played the Tigers and they thought the Nationals lineup was deeper than the Tigers lineup.
Wow. And that's without Ryan Zimmerman and Jason Ward.
Right.
1-2. Way inside. Volquez just unleashing a 1-2 pitch. Diamondbacks will come in here 53-71 tomorrow after losing to the Marlins today. And Harper, that ball got in on his hands and he bounces it to Ike Davis for the first out. Here comes Wilson Ramos, hitting .323 now in 33 games since coming off the disabled list.
Well, you play the game the right way. You try to get the job done. He was just trying to move Bryce Harper right there to third base. Got a pitch up. And we saw that Polanco was playing very shallow, and that's because of the speed of Bryce Harper. He had to cheat up to throw Harper out if it was a base hit. So Ramos drives it over his head, and all madness ensued. It's fun to watch. He and Desmond with the cooler out there. Winning is fun, and offense is cool.
Ramos against Edinson Volquez, a walk. He's 2 for 4. He's been in that 290 to 300 range for quite some time. Up the middle, past the pitcher. Second baseman Neil Walker. And Ramos can't quite beat it out.
What a play.
Yeah, Walker knew if he got it close, Ike Davis would take care at the other end.
Yeah, Wilson Ramos is not going to get a whole lot of infield singles because of the hamstring problems he's had. But watch the play that Neil Walker makes on the shortstop side of second base. A one-hop throw. Davis with a great stretch, but Neil Walker showing some serious range, some serious athletic ability to take a hit away from the Buffalo. Backhand play just stays in his glove.
Neil Walker's kind of a rare bird. And there's Michael Taylor with his 3rd big league hit off the glove of Josh Harrison. So he went up hacking early. Michael's been taking a lot of pitches. And he gets aboard to get Doug Fister to the plate here in the second. Nationals' second base hit.
Well, he's kind of been in between the fastball and the off speed. And you see him taking a lot of fastballs down the middle lately. And he got here because he could hit a fastball. And very aggressive today. Got the first fastball. And the bat guy's a hero for Michael Taylor.
So that's his first base hit since his major league debut in New York with 2, the homer and the single. And here's Doug Fister with a couple of hits this year.
You hit 22 home runs in the minor leagues. It's not because you're a good curveball hitter. It's because you can hit number 1. And Michael Taylor's got to get back to looking for number 1. He did right there. Even though the bat broke, that's what he needs to do. Get on that first heater. I like it.
Yeah, he's been taking a lot of pitches. Target in on Fister. Doug will take a strike in there. Just one thing about Neil Walker, kind of a rare player when you think about it. A second baseman who's a switch hitter, and he hits for power, and he's a really good defensive guy out there too. Kind of a rare combination. Catcher earlier in his amateur days. And that ball is a swing and a miss, and getting away is Martin over by the dugout to retrieve it, and Michael Taylor gets into scoring position. 2 wild pitches by Volquez, and really he's been all over the place early.
Russell Martin thinking, I wish this was a 1 o'clock start. He might have the day off.
Yeah.
He is getting beat up again here today.
Yeah, there's no day off for the Pirates. They start that series with the Braves tomorrow night. Pfister gets the bat on it. Over there is Alvarez, and no time to get it. Yeah, by the way, it's John Lester for the A's, Mike Minor for the Braves in Atlanta tonight, and then Irvin Santana, Vance Worley tomorrow, and then on Tuesday they get McCutchen back.
Ball's not carrying to left.
Not to the dugout anyway. Doug Pfister has 2 big league RBIs. Swing and a miss on a fastball away. But Taylor got the pitcher to the plate. That turns over the lineup. We're going top 3, no score. Great crowd today again.
Nationals Park. I've never been a big fan of using this phrase, but if the season ended today, the Nationals would set a record for the best strikeout to walk ratio in modern Major League history. Entering today, the Nationals had 991 strikeouts on the season and just 281 walks, good for a 3.53 strikeout to walk ratio, best among all teams in a single season since 1900. Doug Pfister's been a big part of the Nats' success in this department. He ranks 2nd on the Nats staff in strikeout to walk ratio, behind just Jordan Zimmerman, who's 7th in all of baseball. You toss Steven Strasburg in there, and 3 of the Nats' 5 starters average more than 5 strikeouts for every walk this season. So missing bats and not allowing free passes, a pretty good recipe for success, guys.
Yeah, nicely said, Dan. On our AFCIA sideline report, Ian Desmond takes care of Travis Snyder, who goes up swinging. AFCIA, the Association for Global Security Professionals.
Well, that thing has a way of kind of snowballing and manifesting itself throughout the course of a season. When you have a staff like the Nats with a reputation of throwing strikes, as a hitter, there's no reason to try to go up there and work a walk. So now you're aggressive, and that's how that thing starts to play out and grow, because, hey, I'm coming up hacking. Might foul a few off. Then you got a chance to strike me out because you have strikeout stuff. But if you have a staff that shows that it's wild, you'll work a count. That's not the case when you face the Nats.
Here's Ike Davis. Fastball up. Started the ball game, did Ike, on Friday night, batting 7th. Had a single and 2 trips. And against Doug Fister, 1 for 6. Ike Davis, 4 hits, 4 walks his last 5 games. He's played exactly 100 games for the Pirates now after coming over from the Mets, and he's hitting .242 with 7 home runs, 33 batted in. Fister on the attack, letter high fastball, 2-2. Nissan will track it.
Run it back, 2-seam fastball, threw it right at Ike Davis, came back for a strike.
Pitcher on deck here in the Pittsburgh 3rd. And he just missed a very rare base on balls. First base runner for the Pirates today on Fister's 14th walk of the year.
Well, there goes that record. All right, it's time to tweet your photo using hashtag #MassivFanPhotos for a chance to have it shown in a future broadcast. That's brought to you by AT&T. There you go, Dan.
Edinson Volquez, 088 career hitter, 1 for 33 this year. Looking to bunt, he takes a stab at that breaking ball moving away from him.
Well, we talked a lot about the deception in Jeff Locke's delivery last night, but I think Doug Fister out of the windup is equally deceptive when you talk about the length and the elbows and kneecaps and all the stuff he has going on. Turns his back to the hitter out of the windup.
Oh, and he throws one away. So that'll give the Pirates the 90 feet they were hoping for from the sacrifice. And a very rare wild pitch by Doug Fister. His 4th all year.
Yeah, Ramos couldn't reach across because there was so much break on that slider.
Really no reason for Volquez to bunt here. Runners already in scoring position. He'll take a fastball up, and the count 2-2.
That's a situation where a lot of managers will keep the bunt on simply because most leadoff hitters have speed, and there's infield singles that score runs from third base. Gregory Polanco can run
right down the middle. Volquez took a swing, but it was one-handed, and he was already out of the box walking back to the dugout. 2 outs.
All right, the DC area Toyota dealers want to help children and their families by making a donation of $37 to the Children's Inn at NIH for every strikeout by a Nats pitcher this season.
Top of the order, Gregory Polanco.
Something we really haven't talked about, Carp, is, you know, Bryce Harper in left, one of the better arms in left field in baseball. Michael Taylor in right has a cannon as well. So we're talking about runner on second base, 2 outs. Tough to score with those 2 guys on anything hit hard.
Yeah.
And DENARD Span, a very good thrower, but not the level that Harper and Taylor are at. Those guys both have above average major league arms.
Yeah, we'll see more of Michael as time goes by. As you mentioned, 3 center fielders out there. And a 1-1 to Polanco, who's driven in 28 runs. The middle center fielder will take this one. No problem for DENARD Span. And Doug Fister, a little glitch at the bottom of the order. No problem. 3 shutout innings without a hit. Last year, August 17th, Adam LaRoche got a breaking ball, and that thing is not coming back. That was LaRoche, who came in to play first base in the 9th inning. The Nats blew a lead, and then it would go 15 innings. Dan Herron the save, one of the craziest games ever. Steven Strasburg retired 3 batters as the starter that night, got tossed after a hit by pitch and a couple of pitches behind Andrelton Simmons. And in 5 hours and 29 minutes, the Nats beat the Braves 8-7. Crazy.
I think Adam looks better with the beard.
By the way, you can still enroll in the UC undergraduate or graduate program. DENARD Span fouls one away. Next session begins the 8th of September. Visit umuc.edu. That's University of Maryland University College. Moment in history. Yeah, what's up with Saturday nights in Atlanta the last 2 years?
Hey, we've spent more time in that booth in 2 games than we have in 81 in this one.
Man.
And I think all Adam LaRoche's home runs are after midnight.
Yeah, and that's like
in Atlanta.
Counting the rain delay last week, that's like 12.5 hours of tomahawk chops.
Which is about 12.5 hours too many.
DENARD Span pulled it on the ground to Neil Walker, first time out. Way inside.
Well, Volquez really scuffling on the glove side right now, with both the fastball and the changeup. And the curve, for that matter.
STG takes us inside the numbers, and DENARD Span just up there in almost every significant category for a leadoff man, and he's in the last week or so broken into the top 10 in runs. Broken bat, just foul. Yeah, Span now with Rendon, they've scored 156 runs of the Nationals' total of 508.
And they like each other so much, they hand each other bats. They do everything together. They should do a Baseball Friends cartoon on those two.
Yeah.
Let's see if Anthony picked a winner.
Off speed, took a little bit off. 88 diving away from Span. Strikeout number 3 for Edinson Volquez.
All right, just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one on this fine Sunday afternoon, to look forward to Miller Time later in the game. That's brought to you by Miller Lights.
As Drupal Cabrera hit the ball extremely hard first time out to right center. And as FP mentioned, Marte froze for an instant, caught up with it. And as we look out there now, part of the reason for the catch is because they've got him shaded to pull just a bit with the center fielder. He's about 10 to 12 feet off center out there, and that enabled him to get to that ball. He'll pull this one. Neil Walker for the second out. Same situation in which Anthony Rendon singled first time up. For the Achiever and you, PNC Bank, with our minor league report, and we haven't checked in on Tyler Moore for a while. So at AAA, 67 ball games now, 39 RBIs, 35 runs, warming it up over the last week. A big bat we hope to see as soon as the rosters expand. If there's not a reason to get him up here sooner, Tyler Moore.
I miss that guy.
One of the great young men in this organization. And I'm sure Mike Rizzo got plenty of phone calls about him. Rendon, a base hit, went to second on a wild pitch. First time up. And that's the pitch on which he singled last time up. Waiting for the breaking ball, hit it hard to left. Edinson Volquez, 31 years of age. Career record 63-59 with a 4.60 ERA. And he had Rendon locked up.
He used to be known as Julio Reyes, then he changed his name to Edison. Then he later added an N. Grew up idolizing Pedro Martinez in the Dominican Republic. When he was 11, he used to watch the Expos Martinez. Try to emulate everything he did.
Got a little bit of that sidearm whip.
Yeah, he and his dad used to watch videos of Pedro. And that was his model. He said, I want to be like Pedro Martinez. Now he actually works out with Pedro in the offseason and asks him for pitching advice.
Looked like he was on his way to stardom, 17-6 for the Reds in 08, but he hasn't had a winning record since, except for a couple of 4-win injury-filled seasons with Cincinnati. Throws the ball beautifully right there, right to the corner, strikes out Rendon. 4 Ks for him. Scoreless game now to the middle innings. International Troop Recognition, honoring those who fight for our freedom every day here at the ballpark. It's brought to you by DynCorp International. We serve today for a better tomorrow. And all the players take a moment out from their routine, getting ready for the top of the 4th inning, to applaud those who do such important work for all of us. Harrison, Walker, Martin, top of the 4th. '40th pitch of the day. 26 strikes. Harrison fly ball to right first time. Line drive to right. Taylor is right there. And the first 2 batters in the Pirate lineup this weekend, Polanco and Harrison, are 1 for 20 against the Nats pitching.
Well, maybe they can take a tote bag with them as they go to play the Braves in Pittsburgh. The first 25,000 fans will receive a Nationals tote bag. That's presented by Kaiser Permanente on Tuesday, August 19th. You can get it at all gates while supplies last.
Here's Neil Walker. I tell you what, in the shade today, it's really nice. Those in the sun, it really warmed up in town today. 87 degrees at game time. Muggier than it's been in a couple of days. Tough hitting conditions for the guys at this stage of the game. Now the infield pretty much in the shadows. Batter's eye in the sun out in the center. After a 5:06 local time start. Time of the day when a lot of playoff games can start. 1-1. This one popped up right side. Adam LaRoche on the approach.
Doug Fister did everything he could. Used all of his powers not to try to catch that ball. He wanted that so bad. He was standing there waiting for somebody to say, take it, take it, take it. And finally, Adam LaRoche said, I got it.
Did you see what he did after that, though? When LaRoche called it, Fister started running over toward first to cover.
Well, watch Doug right here. He wants this so bad. We've seen him go for foul balls in the upper deck. He just wants this, and then finally LaRoche calls him off, and Adam takes it.
And he goes to cover first. Not like LaRoche is going to drop the ball, but Doug Fister's one of those everybody's got a place to be on every play kind of guys. This is out of play by Russell Martin. Beauty of a breaking ball at 73.
That one had a little tilt away from Russell Martin. It wasn't just the 12-6 curveball up and down. Watch this one break away from Martin at the very end.
Yeah, off the table and the side of the table on the Mercedes-Benz pitch track.
Try to elevate the fastball off the curveball and get a chase. Just comes at you so quick with everything, and just watch the turn of the shoulder, shows you the numbers, and then the ball kind of behind his leg and comes out of nowhere with the crossfire. See his stride?
He jams Martin to his left. Rendon on the run, and another 1-2-3 inning for Doug Fister. He's done that 3 out of 4 times. So it's LaRoche, Desmond, Harper straight ahead.
Duel here. 5 o'clock start. Shadows and stuff combination. Both guys, Volquez and Fister, doing their thing. Let me show you a little Doug Fister action. Tempo, great. Command of all 4 pitches so far. Mixing it up nice. And the changeup from Edinson Volquez has been deadly so far here. So the fastball 95 and the changeup about 10 miles an hour slower at 84-85. Both guys on cruise control, but it's about to be a time where you can see the ball again. The shadows are all the way out to center field. I don't think the backdrop is a factor anymore.
So Fister, 50 pitches, 33 strikes through 4. Volquez, 46 and 32 strikes through 3. He'll face LaRoche, Desmond, and Harper here. Adam drew a walk first time with a fantastic at bat of discipline, his 64th walk of the year. That's the 5th highest total in the National League. This one stroked well out to center and right to Starling Marte.
So I'm talking about covering all the pitches. That was a changeup right there, and he smoked it to center field. Visit any Cox Solution stores throughout Virginia for your free T-shirt. This is open to all fans. You do not need to be a Cox customer, but they want you to be probably. They'll give you a shirt. Visit Cox.com for your nearest store while supplies last.
Volquez now against Ian Desmond. In the American League moments ago, Texas walked off Houston Street, and the Angels, they had a 2-1 lead into the ninth at Arlington. And so the Athletics playing the Braves tonight could be in first place alone again if they can win behind John Lester. Angels and the A's went into today in a virtual tie in the AL West. Ian Desmond on a wicked breaking ball in the dirt, struck out first time. And again. Two down for Bryce Harper. Inside the numbers with G. At home, 500 ball club for the first 2 months. Since then, a whole lot better. Batting average up 35 points. Runs per game up a full run per game. And that tells you, FP, they usually get to that magical 4-run level or beyond, and that turns into W's.
That graphic's just about health. Early on, they were banged up. Been, I guess, a little healthier lately.
Bryce got jammed first time, pulled the ball on the ground to Ike Davis.
Talked to Jason Worth today, and he said, the shoulder's feeling better, but he's a two-handed swing guy, and it's his right shoulder. So when he really follows through after the swing, Bryce Harper might have felt that stinger in his thumb right there. But it's when Jason follows through on his swing with two hands that it kind of bites him. So he said rather than kind of push it right now and have it set him back the rest of the season and play jacked up all the way down, maybe even in the playoffs, he wants to get that thing right. So when the big games come around in September, that hopefully October, that he's 100%. So there's certain things that you can play with. If it's your legs, you can hobble around and kind of figure things out. But when it's your swing and your arm, and if you saw him Sunday night in Atlanta, his one-handed swing did not look like Jason Worth, and he actually threw a ball into second base where it looked like his arm almost went with it. So he's trying to get it right.
Close, breaking ball 0-2.
I think that's smart.
When you get him back, you want him to be back for the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Same with Ryan Zimmerman. This ball club can keep this thing going. September could be a lot of fun. Upstairs, 2-2.
97.
No score. 0-2-0 Nats. And nothing on the board for the Pirates yet, except a walk. Harper IDs the changeup. What a good take. And that's part of that discipline we've seen from Bryce in the batter's box lately.
High, low, strikes, balls. I guess effectively wild.
That ball's hard hit into his right. Ike Davis will pick it. Leads Volquez to the bag. And now Edinson Volquez has gone 7 in a row and 10 of his last 11. Gorgeous day at the ballpark and quite a pitcher's duel. Volquez and Pfister.
He's a crossfire guy. I'm going to show you a classic crossfire guy. Here's the deception in the delivery. Watch the turn right here on the balance point. Shows you his numbers. So that's what you're seeing as a hitter. Now watch where his stride is. He's stepping right at a right-handed hitter. You see that dark circle in the dirt. And now watch the angle he's creating. See how that's just a crossfire action? So most guys will step straight toward the hitter. Doug Fister stepping right toward the right-handed hitter and throwing across his body. So he's got the height number 1, the back turn number 2, and the ball coming out of nowhere number 3, and then he steps right at a right-handed hitter number 4. And on top of that, you know, the stuff is good. A lot of stuff going on, but that's how you're successful. Create deception in your delivery and throw all your pitches for strikes.
Pedro Alvarez, 2-0, top of the 5th. Yeah, and you talked earlier about the quickness of his mechanics. There he goes. Boom. With great control. I don't think anybody starts and gets the ball out of his hand quicker than Doug Fister. A little slower off the stretch, noticed earlier, with Davis on base in the 3rd. And a 2-1 pitch. Right to the inside edge. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And when you talk about where he's stepping and where he's getting the ball to, so he's stepping toward third base, then he's throwing all the way across his body to the other side of the plate. And as a left-handed hitter even, you're looking and saying, there's no way he can get the ball way back over here. Look where he's stepping. And he does it consistently.
That ball was hanging up and in, and Alvarez, who's got as much power as anybody in the league, couldn't keep it fair. Pirates don't have anybody that's up like in the top 5 in home runs. They just have a bunch of guys that are going to hit 20 or more this year when it all shakes out. They've hit 109 on the year, 4th most in the league. The Nats at 105 right behind them. And a 2-2, and that ball really hit hard. Taylor over to get it. And the Pirates' leadoff man in the 5th inning is their first base hit of the day.
Yeah, he's on the curveball before that, and I think Doug Fister threw him back-to-back curveballs. So this one, Alvarez makes the adjustment, gets his hands inside a little bit more, lets the ball get deeper, and gets the first hit of the day for the Pirates. That might have been a changeup. Good swing by Alvarez.
And now off the stretch for only the 3rd hitter today. It's Starling Marte. Fister jammed him first time, and Marte bounced it back to the pitcher.
This sinker right here is filthy. Watch this move. Right under the hands of Starling Marte. He shows you he's going to swing. There's no doubt about it. Starling Marte not waiting around for anything.
In the series, 4 for 9. A homer, 3 RBIs. Pirates, a good running team, 3rd in the league in steals behind the Dodgers and the Reds. They just haven't been able to get enough guys on base to use the running game. That's a slow roller right side. LaRoche cuts it off to get the lead run. Great range by Adam LaRoche to keep a runner out of scoring position.
Yeah, once that takes you to second base with the speed of Marte, you have to go that way. There's no way you come back and get it to Doug Fister. So a nice play by Adam LaRoche. Go where the ball takes you. No need to put on the brakes and try to throw it the other way. Just get the force out. Only thing is, you just exchanged 6 stolen bases for 23. Starling Marte with 23 bags. Now you got to keep him close.
Doug Fister ahead of Travis Snyder. Snyder bounced out to Desmond first time.
And nobody's stole on Doug Fister yet this year. The league is 0 for 1. So not even trying.
Not
really.
even trying. That ball hit well. Here comes Taylor. And he'll lay back and take it on a hop. Thought Michael might challenge it. If you do, you better make the play, and that's 2 on, 1 out. 8 and 9 coming up.
Well, Taylor got a good jump on it and a good read. Ball just fell. You get into that point, no man's land for an outfielder where you decide, do I dive for this? Do I go in? Taylor decides to play it on a hop.
That'll bring in Ike Davis, the only Pirate other than this inning to be on base. Pfister walked in with 1 out in the 3rd. Ike Davis against Doug, 1 for 6 career with that base on balls.
I'm going to try to sink him and get a ground ball.
Ike Davis, pretty good damage over the years here as a Met. He has hit into 7 double plays this year. In the air, left center, well hit, Span, backtracking, halfway onto the track, both runners tagging, and the Pirates will have 2nd and 3rd, 2 out with the pitcher coming up. Ike Davis gave it a ride.
Not only covers ground, but gets himself in the right position to get the ball back in. When you have an above-average runner like Starling Marte at second base on a long fly ball, they have notions of scoring from second base, tagging up and scoring all the way. DENARD Span got behind that nice, got it in quick to Ian Desmond, so Marte couldn't even think about rounding third base. Watch Span getting back to his spot, squaring himself up with the infield. He knows he's got a plus runner on second base, gets it in quick, so now Nick Leyva has to hold Marte, can't even think about waving him. I've seen guys go back, take their time, 3 or 4 extra steps, and plus runners score from second base on deep fly balls this inning.
Edinson Volquez struck out looking first time. Started that AB trying to bunt with Davis at first back in the 3rd. He went to second on a wild pitch. Then it kind of turned into a regular at bat. And there's a fly ball right to Taylor. Nicely done by Doug Pfister. 2 hits, 2 Pirates stranded, and now halfway through, no score. Bills bobblehead day. 4 other presidents in tow, well behind. And you know when the pierogies appear, something bad is about to happen.
The Hot Pockets are still in town?
They are. Haven't been microwaved yet. Down goes Abe. Teddy's next. I don't like Tom's chances. And then as the pierogi is ready to take out Bill near the finish line, we're not sure who the taped up lobster is.
I mean, maybe I should know, but I do know one thing. I want to be that for Halloween. Because you'd be the life of the party with that costume, I'll tell you that.
It's a red lobster, as most are. So we're going bottom 5. Nats fans calling out Wilson Ramos. Taylor, Pfister to follow in a scoreless game. Each team with 2 hits. Now the Nats haven't had a hit since the second. 7 straight for Volquez in 10 of his last 11. Cloud cover at the ballpark. Guys will be seeing that white baseball pretty well right now. And Ramos goes up hacking, and Russell Martin limps out from behind home plate. That is one tough dude back there. He's had an incredible weekend with this pitching staff. Volquez went with the front door breaking ball. Either that or a changeup. Stayed inside. His changeup usually upper 80s.
It's a curveball. Backed up.
Backed up. Didn't do much of anything. That's his out pitch curveball that he's pulled out a couple of times.
And both pitchers doing a really nice job of mixing it up, but when they do fall behind the count, Doug Fister, Edinson Volquez doing a great job of not getting too much plate, shaving corners, throwing strikes, but quality strikes when you're behind, not just laying it right in there.
Two-two to start the bottom of the 5th. There's the changeup, 88. It just stayed down.
Bet fastball, and if you throw anything else, you got me. And shook off the curve to go to the fastball.
Ramos hits it hard to short. Josh Harrison. Low throw picked out by Ike Davis. Michael Taylor, big walk last night. Base hit today. Dan has more.
Baseball requires a series of adjustments for all players, but no one maybe has to adjust to more than a rookie getting his first taste of the big leagues. I talked with Michael Taylor earlier today about what adjustments he's needed to try and make early on, and he says that the biggest difference so far from the minor leagues is that he's seeing fewer mistake pitches. Obviously, pitchers have better control at the big league level, so Taylor's seen far more pitches on the black and fewer over the middle of the plate. So he says after an aggressive stretch, he's been trying to be more patient of late. Now, defensively, Taylor says that the second and third decks that are in major league ballparks mean that the lights are higher up, so he's had to battle more balls in the lights when playing the corner outfield positions than when he was in the minors. It's all part of the process for a young player, especially one who's in his first ever stint in the major leagues.
Yeah, 3 hits, 4 walks, actually 3 walks in his first big league week, and that's inside. And that walk last night, pinch hitting, leading off the 8th, led to the 3-run inning. RBIs by Franzen and LaRoche later on.
And big at bat. I gave him my sneaky MVP last night's game. Got the party started.
Slow roller right side. Neil Walker knows he has to be quick, and he is for the second out.
Fans, you can donate unwrapped toys when the Nationals host the annual toy drive on Wednesday, August 10th. No, Wednesday, August 20th. No, Wednesday, August 30th. The toys collector will be distributed to nonprofit organizations and hospital pediatric wards in the D.C. area by U.S. Marine Corps Reserves and the Toys for Tots Foundation during the holiday season. Center field gate 4:30 through the 3rd inning. You can drop them off.
There's Doug Fister, struck out swinging first time.
I like the Misfit toys myself.
Volquez trying to make it 10 in a row here. On a perfect fastball to the outside edge. Right side, backing up Ike Davis. He'll race to the bag and beat Doug Fister. So Volquez and Fister matching up beautifully here. No score, 6th inning ahead. Fine. We thought when you looked first of all the pitching matchup and then a 5:06 start, 5:05 the scheduled starting time, this could happen. Low scoring game 3s. The Nats go for the sweep.
Yeah, I mean, you got to manufacture a run today. Find a way to get somebody on, get them over, get them in. The Nats have been doing a nice job of that since the All-Star break. It's something, you know, they've focused on getting guys over. Wilson Ramos won a game doing it last night after Bryce Harper got to second base. So the little things today in a pitcher's duel are going to turn out to be huge.
You know, and it's hard to say one move for a ball club is better than another, but name an acquisition in the National League, especially the East, any better than Mike Rizzo picking up Doug Fister this year.
Yeah, we heard it in spring training. We hear it everywhere we go. How did you guys get that guy? And Mike Rizzo pulling off a great move. Doug Fister turned out to be the ace of this staff, and he's doing what he's done all season here today against the Pirates.
Here he goes again. In 5 innings of shutout baseball on 2 hits, averaging 13 pitches per. And of those 13 pitches, on the average, 9 of them are strikes every inning. Faces the Pirates leadoff man, Gregory Polanco, for the 3rd time. He has struck out and hit a fly ball to span in center. Reaching for that. No balls, 2 strikes. So the Pirates box score, a walk by Ike Davis in the 3rd, and then base hits by Pedro Alvarez, the leadoff man in the 5th, and a 1-out single by Travis Snyder. That is it. Up the middle, that's where Ian Desmond's playing. And he boots it. Ian Desmond's 19th error of the year, may be hurrying a bit because Polanco flies.
Well, when Ian Desmond goes to his left, he doesn't really come get the baseball, and that allowed a couple extra hops in there. And you know, once you sit on it like that, you're going to get an in-between hop, and that's exactly what happened. See that little last hop right there? He comes up, just comes out of his glove. But you see him sit back on it. You come get that ball, you get the bottom of the big hop. You won't let that last hop get to you. And that tricky little in-between hop is because he sat. Now the Pirates have leadoff man aboard, and this might be the small ball we were talking about.
First error in this series by either team. Josh Harrison. Fister's had him going the other way twice. Fly ball to Taylor and a line drive to Michael in right field. Polanco 12 out of 16 stealing. I mean, you can look at him down there. He is so long and lanky. He will eat up some space on every stride, and there he goes. And Harrison hits beautifully behind him. And the Pirates will have first and third, nobody out.
Well, there's the manufacturer we're talking about. The Pirates go hit and run baseball, and Josh Harrison executes it perfectly. You can't do it any better than this. As Drupal Cabrera covering, he gets a pitch away, just throws the bat on the baseball. And you see Polanco looking in, hit and run all the way. And an easy first and third, even though Michael Taylor was charging hard. That's good baseball right there.
I know they switch off here and there, but more often than not, the shortstop stays home with a right-handed batter. Second baseman covers, and that was picture perfect. So here's Neil Walker, who's driven in 50 runs. He's hit the ball in the air twice on the infield today. One into short left field, caught by the shortstop Desmond, the other to LaRoche, and Doug Fister goes to work. That's only the second hit in the series for Harrison. Polanco doesn't have any. So they are 2 for 22. Fister has it. He's got the runner hung up. Throw home, and Ramos can't get it because Rendon threw it offline. And the Nationals have made 2 bad errors here in the 6th inning.
All right, Doug Fister made the pitch. He got the comebacker. He did everything he could do right there. And was the throw wide for Rendon, or did Ramos just miss it? Let's all look at it together again. Yeah, short hop throw in fair territory. So Rendon rushes the throw. Watch this. This is a great angle of it right here. Yeah, that's a sinker, and there's nothing Wilson Ramos could do. So the left side of the infield costed the Nats a run right here in the 6th.
Fielder's choice, E5. And of course, Harrison kept going. He made it all the way to third. So the Pirates take the lead here. And here's Russell Martin.
Well, this is where the veteran presence of Doug Fister, you're hoping, if you're the Nationals, comes into play. Meaning, you know, he's tough to rattle. He's tough to fluster. Things haven't gone his way behind him this inning. He's trying to come out of this with damage control and minimize the runs the Pirates are trying to get.
Martin in swing mode. It's 0-2.
And in these situations, you'll see younger pitchers go hard. They'll throw harder right. Or you know, stuff's going on behind them. They get rattled. They're going to throw their best fastball. Veteran guys go the other way. They start throwing their off-speed stuff and take advantage of the hitter's aggressiveness. We've seen Fister do that in the past. Throw over right here.
One quick question for you on that rundown. Did Fister throw behind the runner too quickly there? As a rule, you want to send the guy back to third base, right?
You could run right at him. That's what, you know, you do the drills in spring training when you get a comebacker.
That's a fair ball. It's going to drive in a run. Rendon throws the ball right into the runner, Martin, and the Nationals are lucky that didn't go down the right field line. They'll probably give Russell a base hit there. And crazy things are happening. It's 2-0 Pittsburgh. They've hit one ball out of the infield here.
Give Josh Harrison some credit here on third base. He goes on contact. On a slow roller, if a runner hesitates, the best play is at home, but Harrison got a good read. He took off. He was across the plate by the time Rendon fields this ball, and Rendon with the bare hand play throws it right in to Russell Martin. And the best part about that play is that Adam LaRoche did not reach for the ball. If he reaches for that, you never know what could happen to your wrist. I've seen some guys really mess themselves up on a throw, on a bunt up the line. So, yeah, the run scored. Martin's at first. But
now another base hit. Alvarez. Runners being held by Nick Leyva at third, and the bases are loaded with nobody out. So 3 hits, 2 errors, and 2 runs in with the dangerous Starling Marte coming up. Ian Desmond and Anthony Rendon have made 32 errors between them this year, and 2 costly ones in this inning. Marte 0 for 2 with a pair of ground balls.
Yeah, even though he's got the bases loaded and there's nowhere to put Marte, you still don't have to be in a rush to throw this guy strikes. He's swinging.
You've made that point all weekend, and we've seen it all year.
He's swinging. Right now he's swinging.
And that shows how much he loves to hack on the first one. Holds on the high fastball. Back to the pitcher. Force it home. And Fister pulled Ramos off the plate and almost threw it away.
That was a double play.
Yeah, they were going to go 1, 2, 3 there. And Ramos did well to get 1 out.
Well, because of the speed of Marte, Doug Fister, one of the best defensive fielding pitchers in baseball, rushes a throw. See him sidearm sling that right there. Good play by Ramos. And if that would have went to the backstop, the wheels would have been completely off in this inning.
1 out. Travis Snyder, the hitter. Fastball in there.
I'll tell you, he's 1 pitch away from getting out of this with 2 runs. That's not bad. He gets a ground ball double play. And he's got that 2-seamer in his back pocket. He's looking for a ground ball, and there's some guys out there that want to hit to him.
Right side. LaRoche is going to come home. Didn't think they could get 2, so he takes the lead runner. Smart play by the veteran.
Clint Hurdle's looking at his bench coach right now, and he's wondering if Wilson Ramos' foot was on the plate. He's on the top step. They're on the phone in the Pirates dugout. And he's going to take a stroll. Still waiting for an answer. Yeah, he's going to go out there and appeal it. I thought Wilson's foot came up. It could have been on the plate initially. Let's see.
Still looking back.
That's close, and it's worth a challenge.
Yeah, he's going to go back. Evidently, his guys told him that Ramos got the foot back down.
On the 6th inning with the bases loaded, I might just take a wild shot at that one with my challenge. I don't know.
Ike Davis is the 8th man to bat in the inning. You could look at this inning and say the Nats have already given the Pirates 5 outs.
Or you could also look at it and say that if he gets out of this with just 2 runs, that's a really good job.
It sure would be. Off speed in there to Davis, who has walked and flew out to DENARD span in center. And Ross Detweiler for the Nationals. Pitcher on deck. Up and in, ball 2.
Mike Davis in the driver's seat big time right here. Fister with nowhere to put her, has to throw a strike right here. He's going to be aggressive. I like the play by LaRoche going home. He didn't have the double play. Ball wasn't hit hard enough.
Missed. 3-0. Oh, no, he didn't. High strike call. I was watching Davis getting ready to remove his shin guard. One strap off, and he cannot believe he didn't walk in a run.
Doug Fister went 3-1 changeup right there with the bases loaded, 2 outs. Clint Hurdle saying, let's go. You can read his lips. He thought it was high. But you see Davis almost taking all the way, trying to duck the pitch.
Clint Hurdle cannot believe it. It's still 2-0. Fly ball right field. Here comes Taylor. Can you come out of an inning like that with momentum? Well, maybe Doug Fister just provided that by getting 3 tough outs.
I'll tell you what, that might be the most impressive inning I've seen Doug Fister throw this year.
Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. Bottom of the 6th inning, long way to go. Pirates should have had more. Fister shut the door on them. It'll be Span, Cabrera, and Rendon.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of pitchers in baseball that just happen behind Doug Fister, give up 5, 6, even 7 runs. The Pirates put 7 base runners in a row on right there, and they came out with 2 runs. That's the veteran presence and the no panic approach of Doug Fister. To get out of that with just 2, I mean, in all likelihood, this should be at least a 5-0 game. That's some tremendous damage control from the Nats starter, and that's why I said that may be his most impressive inning of the year.
DENARD Span 0 for 2. Well, Volquez had to sit around quite a while there. DENARD shows bunt, pulls the bat back. It's a called strike with Pedro Alvarez charging from third. Both of those runs unearned, 3 hits, 2 errors in the inning. Right off the top of the barrel there. Nothing much going on offensively for the Nats. Anthony Rendon, 2-out single first inning. Walked by LaRoche after that. Michael Taylor, 2-out single second inning. And since then, Edinson Volquez has retired 11 straight and now 14 out of 15.
Well, ideally, you'd like to answer right here for the Nationals, but if you can't do that, you'd like to have some sort of inning put together to give Doug Fister a chance to regroup after working hard to get out of that. You go 1, 2, 3 right here, and he's back on the mound. You never know what's going to happen. Get a few guys on at least here and give him a rest.
Yeah, you talked about all the guys on base. That whole inning, 22 pitches. Some guys, it would have been 40. Up and away, 2-0. Cabrera hitless today. Lined out deep to right center, first time up. Bouncing ball to second in the series, 1 for 5 with a walk. Came into this game with 3 hits and a career home run against Volquez. Gets under that one to right. And Gregory Polanco for the second out.
All right, folks, Matt Williams and Massa want to challenge you to a game of Fungo Golf in the Care First Fan Challenge. Just tweet using hashtag #IChallengeMatt all week long for a chance to win. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take a step towards a more active lifestyle. That's what he's thinking about right now, Fungo Golf.
Yeah, he'd like Rendon to pretend there's a par 4 in the right center field scoreboard area. Well, not that far, but he'll take it. And Anthony Rendon's 2 for 3 today. First multi-hit game he's had in over a week. That'll bring in Adam LaRoche.
Such a good hitter in the sense that they've been trying to pound him in. They've been pretty successful this whole series of getting in on. But watch the inside-out swing. This is a fastball. It is in. But Rendon is so adept to getting his hands inside the baseball, going the other way, that he takes a 90-plus fastball and gets a base hit to right. You get around that baseball, your bat's in 5 pieces, and you ground it out to short.
I'm sure that Pirates are holding their breath on that dive by Neil Walker with his back sore lately. Looks fine. And suddenly Adam LaRoche is the tying run. He's already tied up 1 game in this series with a homer. Today 0 for 1 with a walk, and he hit the ball hard last time. Lined out to Marte in center. Pirate outfield deep, especially center and right.
Polanco's got his heels on the warning track almost. Look at that. A little respect. Playing no doubles defense with a runner on first.
Fastball away, 2-1.
You know, usually as an outfielder, with 2 outs and a runner on first, you'll give a guy with pop a couple of steps. Just get a little bit deeper to create some better angles in the gap so that the guy doesn't score all the way from first base. But right now, Gregory Polanco is as deep as I've seen any right fielder all season long at any time. And last night with Ramos up, he was as shallow as any right fielder I had seen against Wilson Ramos all year long.
Nasty on the breaking ball, and Volquez has thrown it to lefties today as well. Two, target in. That's a big miss. It gives Rendon a chance to be moving at first. With the outfield playing so deep, he might need every step of that to score on an extra base hit.
Challenge him with a heater right here.
Nothing Pirates, bottom of the 6th. The Nats coming off a nightmare field inning, trying to erase it here minutes later after Fister did such a good job.
Ball 4.
LaRoche will take the walk, and there are 2 men on.
Excuse me, Carp. I was going to say ball 4. Rendon can go to third base. Josh Harrison was all the way up the middle, so as soon as it was ball 4, he went dead sprint to cover third. You saw Russell Martin come out and fake a throw to Rendon, but the shift was so big. Not that it matters with 2 outs. He had a chance.
Ian Desmond has struck out twice.
That might have been a pitch around to get to Desmond.
That's the fastball in the dirt. He has struck out Ian twice on curveballs that he buried. And a chance for redemption here. Bottom of the 6th for the Nats shortstop.
I don't think Volquez had a whole lot of interest in going right after Adam LaRoche with the success he's had with Desmond today, even though he put the tying run on.
Yeah, the 5th leading RBI guy in the league. Inside the numbers with Jeep, and guys on the infield driving in runs. Desmond has 72. LaRoche has 66. So does Rendon. And then the second baseman, Cabrera, Espinosa chipping in. The Nats putting up big numbers from the inside part of their defense this year. And a 1-1. There's that breaking ball that has stymied Ian today.
Well, you almost knew it was coming. Fastball into Desmond the pitch before that. And that's what the Pirates have been doing pretty much the whole series. Fastball in, off speed away. A short little curveball right there.
Two on, two out, and a 1-2 pitch. He goes breaking ball and hangs it, and Ian Desmond's going to drive in a run. They throw home from deep in right center. Not a good choice by Marte. The Nats are on the board, and the tying runs at third base, lead run at second.
How about that? Both guys that made an error in the top of the inning get base hits in the bottom of the inning. Anthony Rendon with the knock, and Ian Desmond gets a hanger right there and drives it in right center field. Starling Marte very aggressive right here, trying to throw Rendon out. He throws a high throw. Great read by Desmond. So now the go-ahead run in scoring position due to the errant throw from the Pirates center fielder.
Man, I can't believe he tried to throw him out from there with 2 outs.
That throw's got to go right into second base every single time with the go-ahead run in the form of Desmond.
So here comes Ray Searage, the Pirates pitching coach, as Bryce Harper awaits.
Well, I like the way both guys stayed with it. You know, Ian made an error, tough inning. Rendon made an error, tough inning. They both come up in the bottom of the inning and say, you know what, I'm forgetting about that. There's two sides to the game, lumber and leather, and now I'm going to try to do my part to make up for it on offense, and they both did.
And it all started with Rendon's 2-out single. Volquez had retired 12 in a row, had all the momentum. And a base hit the other way by Anthony Rendon got this going. Bryce Harper has pulled the ball on the ground twice. Still looking for his first career hit against Edinson Volquez.
He hit the ball hard last time. That Davis at first. And the crowd's into it.
First 2 games of this series, drawing 79,000. And Harper goes to left. Ball hanging up for Travis Snyder. Fair ball caught. The Nats rally falls short, but they're back in the game after a very unusual top of the 6th inning. Number 73 for Desmond.
game summary brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Arlington and Mercedes-Benz of Alexandria. 2-1. And we're going to show you Doug Fister and the Houdini act in the 6th inning, getting out of it with just 2 runs scored. So while all heck was breaking loose behind him and the magician's assistants weren't doing their job, Fister did his. Great play by Adam LaRoche. Good decision to go to home right there. And then he said, let's go. Give me the ball. I want to do this. And after getting a break on a 3-1 changeup that might have been high, gets right back in the zone and pops up by Davis to minimize the damage to just 2 runs. That looked like it was going to be a huge inning for the Pirates, and it wasn't.
Doug Fister's gone 6 at least for the 15th time this year. And it's 13 out of the last 14 starts he's done that. Now he's trying to go 7 at least for the 5th consecutive time and the 12th time all year. His durability has been amazing and never on better display than it was last inning. 0-2 to Volquez. And that is strikeout number 4.
And getting out of jams like that, it has nothing to do with stuff. It's all about makeup. It's your mindset and how you approach it. You know, are you going to sit out there and feel sorry for yourself because some plays weren't made behind you? Or you can get the ball and attack the strike zone. And you know, those guys have bailed Doug Fister out a lot this year. All the great plays the Nats defense have made seems like they're behind Fister because he works so fast. And that was a case where he said, hey, I'm going to bail you out right now. And he did.
Top of the order, Gregory Polanco. He started that inning with a ground ball up the middle to Desmond that was dropped by Ian. 0 for 3 today in the series, 0 for 10. Pulling the string beautifully to make it 1-2. Got him. Buzzing him with the fastball, 88. Polanco unhappy about the call. 2 Ks in the inning. 2 outs in the 7th.
Wow, very animated rookie right there with the home plate umpire. Watch Gregory Polanco. It's a 2-seam fastball. It's a good pitch. He didn't like the call, and then he lets Andy Fletcher know all about it on the way back to the Pirates dugout. And the Pirates are very verbal and vocal about balls and strike calls, and in my experiences in a long time in baseball, that never helps. It only makes the situation worse.
Here's Josh Harrison.
You never hear, excuse me, Carp, a team chirping in the dugout and the ump go, okay, I'm going to start calling for you guys now. It doesn't work that way. It just gets worse.
Harrison, that hit and run single that got them going last inning after the error. He has the only 2 hits in 23 at-bats of their 2 top-of-the-order guys in this series. Pulls it. Anthony Rendon has it. Gets his feet moving toward first base. Fires a bullet to LaRoche. And folks stretching at the ballpark may be feeling some Nationals momentum here. Time for the Hyundai 7th inning stretch. Despite a glitch in the 6th, Nats right in it. 2-1. Ramos, Taylor, and probably a pinch hitter next. Nuno, 2-8 with a 4.92 ERA. He's given up 20 home run balls, and the Diamondbacks, after a disastrous start, having a rough season. Jordan Zimmerman goes for the Nats. Last 3 starts, 2-0 with a 1.37 ERA, and he's 8-5. 6:30 Nats Extra on Masson Monday night. It's still Sunday evening here. 2-1 Pirates. Bottom of the 7th coming up. It'll be Ramos, Taylor, and then we'll see what happens in the number 9 spot with Doug Fister due up. First 25,000 fans receive an Ian Desmond bobblehead. That's presented by PNC Bank on Thursday as the Nats close out the home series against the Diamondbacks. Make a note, that's a 4:05 game on Thursday. Giveaway available at all gates while supplies last. 202-675-NATS, nationals.com/tickets. Well, Ian delivered his 73rd run batted in last inning. Let's see where the Nats can take it from there.
That clutch knock. Got the 2 strikes, stayed with it. Finally got a curveball up. What's that for Shark Week?
Now, this is on a percentage basis. So the Nats with 2 fewer wins than the Dodgers, but also 2 fewer losses. That gives them a better winning percentage with a couple of games in hand.
I just know they got the best record. I don't know how it works.
Brewers close to winning their 70th game of the year. Last report they had a big lead against the Dodgers. In fact, Milwaukee 7-2 now into the bottom of the 9th in that game.
Well, we talked about last night going off the air how it's starting to feel like a couple of years ago. These are the games you just knew it was a matter of time before they found a way to win in 2012. And you're starting to get that same sort of vibe. And if we're getting up here, those guys down there in the dugout definitely feeling the same thing. Okay, it's time. Here we come.
I saw Hairston and Franzen both with bats, helmets, and gloves on. We'll see what happens when the number 9 spot rolls around. Bullpen busy. Doug Fister's at 97 pitches through 7. You know, if Ramos and Taylor give the Nats the lead, he could be batting and still pitching. We'll see. Ramos jammed, and it's playable for Travis Snyder. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Wilson's got such a good 2-strike approach where he stays inside the ball and hits it to right field. He's been very aggressive on the first pitch lately. I'm sure Matt Williams would like to see him get into some counts and, you know, get that 3-1, that 2-0, and let loose.
Here's Michael Taylor. Kevin Franzen for Fister next. Kevin's never hit against Volquez. Hairston has, but he's 0 for 4. Over in the American League, Kansas City won again today, and Josh Willingham, the former Nat, hit another home run for them. Big pickup for the Royals. They now lead by a game and a half over there. Tigers lost today. The hammer up over the helmet on an off-speed pitch. Taylor ducking, ball 2.
You see what he did different from what he did in New York? He got his bat down. You remember he had a pitch thrown at him in New York. He didn't get his bat down. He got a foul ball and a strike. See his bat down?
2-1 to a young guy with lots of power. And that got him on the hand. Now, I think Andy Fletcher's calling this a foul ball. He put both hands up, indicating foul, and here comes Matt Williams with Lee Kuntz.
Well, he's got to come out. Michael Taylor's so new to this league, he can't really argue, so his manager has to argue for him.
He reacted like he'd been hit.
And he's showing the umpire his bare hand right now, and Lee Kuntz going to take a look at it. This is definitely reviewable if Matt Williams decides to do so.
Yeah. The Nats are going to ask for a review here.
Exmo does not lie. Let's look. Oh, yeah, that got him right on the hand.
That's hand.
Yeah, that's... I mean, I don't think you'd be able to tell there, but the first shot, that's the definitive one that New York's about to look at.
Yeah, and just a moment ago, Andy Fletcher appealed to the first base umpire, at least asked him for help. Mike Malinsky said safe, which means, does that mean hit batter or foul ball?
That means he didn't go.
Okay, so no swing, because if you're hit while you're swinging, it's a strike.
Yeah, so now you can appeal it.
All right.
And this is one that's going to be reversed based on the view we saw. Lee Koontz still treating Michael Taylor on the top.
Yeah, and they shouldn't have to look at this much. They're going to show the replay. You're going to hear a reaction from the crowd right about now.
Well, down by one, you want that speed of Michael Taylor on the bases. And this is going to be the one that they go to and check out. See Exmo, watch his batting glove kind of ripple right there. Gets him right in the hand.
Yeah.
Almost ricocheted in his face. Did you see that?
And obviously no swing. They're going to send him to first base. That's big. Tying run. A guy with speed. And Kevin Franzen, a good contact man, will hit for Pfister. Kevin Franzen in this series, 3 for 5 with an RBI, a 3 for 4 start last night.
You know, we haven't seen too many of them with Matt Williams this year, but if you're ever going to hit and run, this is the perfect storm. You got a guy on first base that can run, a guy in the batter's box that can handle the bat, and a strike thrower on the mound. Saw the Pirates start that rally in the 6th with a hit and run with Josh Harrison. That was with nobody out.
As mentioned earlier, Franzen against Volquez for the first time. And they're expecting Taylor to be on the move here.
It might have been a little flinch from Michael Taylor right there, and that is why Clint Hurdle's throwing over. He's seeing if he's going. Let's check out Taylor. Did he flinch a little bit? No, he got back easy.
A lot of hitting room for Franzen, about 80 feet of it. And they pitch out.
They saw the same flinch I saw, and they thought the hit and run was on.
So Doug Pfister, 7 innings, 2 unearned runs on 5 hits. 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Started, then stopped. It's a base hit by Franzen on the pull side of the field. 2 on, 1 out.
Stay hot, Kevin Franzen.
How about the series he's having now? 4 for 6. Span coming up.
3 knocks last night, a big single to right. Off the bench today, slaps one in left field. Might have been a hit and run. Watch Franzen go down and get this. Michael Taylor started and then stopped. You see him stop right there at the top of the screen. I don't know if he thought he missed a sign or what. It wouldn't have mattered. He would have went first to third anyways. But Franzen doing a nice job of putting it in place, staying hot. So here come the Nats. Game on.
Pirates have Jared Hughes, right-hander in the bullpen. Big at bat for Denard Span. By the way, Matt Williams this year now, 24 challenges, successful on 14 of them. Span 0 for 3. Tying run, second base, great speed. And a ball to left. That is going to drop and the bases will be loaded with 1 out. DENARD span his 142nd hit of the year. Cabrera coming up.
Here they come. Michael Taylor read that right initially, didn't trust his read. He didn't want to take off all the way. He saw Snyder coming. So watch Taylor at the top of the screen. He thinks he's got it read right. Then just that little hesitation is why Bob Henley had to stop him at third base. So DENARD span, base hit. Kevin Franzen, base hit. Michael Taylor hit by pitch. And the line is moving. And the rally teeth are working.
This call to the bullpen, packaged by the UPS Store, your one-stop shop for all your small business needs. Let us handle your mailbox service needs. We love logistics. Jared Hughes comes sprinting in. Box here, and as Drupal Cabrera. Jared Hughes pitched a scoreless inning and a third last night.
Yeah, sinker slider guy. 3-quarter release. Clint Hurdle bringing in the right-hander for the ground ball. 6'7", 240, 49th appearance of the year.
Pirates back for a double play. Cabrera 0 for 1 career against Hughes with a ground ball. Chops one first base. Ike Davis throws it away off the glove of Martin. Here comes another runner. The Nationals take the lead. Great base running by Kevin Franzen.
Well, that's a thank you very much. As Drupal Cabrera thought that was foul, he didn't run initially. Then it looks like he gets in the way of the throw for Mike Davis. You see him duck right there. Davis threw it around Cabrera, and having to throw it around Cabrera, he threw it away. Watch Cabrera, he just stands there. Now he runs. The ball's right at him. He has to duck. Maybe Martin didn't even see it. The ball goes the other way. Franzen scores all the way. And how fired up is Kevin Franzen? The guy adds energy to the game every time he plays.
Here's Anthony Rendon, fielder's choice. Error on Ike Davis on the throw. And then Franzen comes roaring home, running right by Russell Martin, who is retrieving the ball. 3-2 Washington, bottom of the 7th. And here's Rendon with 1 out. Looks at a fastball for a strike. Anthony 0 for 1 career against Jared Hughes.
Well, the fact that Cabrera didn't run, he thought that ball was going to roll foul, actually caused a screen for Ike Davis. You know, maybe if he runs out of the box real quick, Davis has a clear throwing lane to home, but because of the hesitation, Davis tried to throw it around him.
Target away. And it's way out there.
This game's had everything.
Well, you go back to the top of the 6th inning when Doug Fister willed the last couple of outs in that frame after the Nats were on the verge of disaster.
He's in line for the win now.
1-1, Rendon to third. They're going to come home, and that throw is a bad one from Alvarez. He just floated it in there. Scoring span. It's 4-2. And the throwing of Pedro Alvarez hurts the Pirates again.
Well, the Pirates are saying, you know what, Nats, we saw your 6th inning on defense, and we can do better than that.
Wow.
And Pedro Alvarez has had the thing going on at third base, and it rears its ugly head for the Pirates at the wrong time. He made the right play, just shot put it at Russell Martin, and another gift run for the Nats. They really haven't hit the ball past the base, the last 2 hitters, and they've gotten 2 runs out of it. That in front of third, the ground ball that Ike Davis fielded in front of first.
Yeah, they're going to give him an error on that. Fielder's choice, no RBI. Doesn't matter. The Nats have a 2-run lead. Here comes LaRoche. He get busted open. Adam today 0 for 1 with a pair of walks. He'll make Hughes throw strikes. They've reached the magical 4-run plateau. And LaRoche will take a strike to the outside edge. That's inside, ball 2. Hughes working slowly. 2-1 pitch. LaRoche hits it hard, and the Pirates get a double play ball. 4-6-3. So in the first 23 innings of this series, there were no errors. In the last 2 innings, 2 by each team. Friends and some great base running. The Nats take advantage of Pittsburgh boots and a 4-2 lead.
the 7th, taking a 4-2 lead as we go to the top of the 8th, and I'm losing my voice. As promised earlier in the game, we have an AT&T fan photo, and looks like a family at the ballpark in left field.
Got there early or stayed late.
All right.
Here's Tyler Clippard, and maybe this ball game settles down into some semblance of normalcy now. It usually goes that way when Tyler pitches. He is hot in 13 appearances since late July, and 0 ERA. He's given up only 3 hits in 13 times walking in from the bullpen.
Yeah, lefty's hitting righty's hitting 132 against Clippard. Fastball, curveball, changeup, split.
First up will be Neil Walker, who's 2 for 6 against Tyler. He came in, got Polanco, Martin, and Walker 1-2-3 in the 8th inning of Friday night's 5-4 win. So he got a day off yesterday, thanks to the Nats' come-from-behind effort behind Craig Stammen. And he bolts a fastball in there, 92 for a strike. Up the middle and a base hit. Pirates had their leadoff man on for the 3rd straight inning. Actually 3 of the last 4 now.
I think my favorite part about this series so far is, the way the Pirates battle back in the first game of this series, way the Nats battle back in the second game of this series, and the Pirates aren't going anywhere. They're going to fight right to the end. 2 teams that don't quit.
Next up, Russell Martin. Career 0 for 5 against Clippard. Up the middle. Oh, look at Cabrera to Desmond and a 4-6-3. A little fast break behind the back. Amazing.
Are you kidding me with this? It's the only play he had. He was so far stretched out with the backhand. There's no way he could have righted himself and flipped it to Desmond, so he goes with the behind-the-back feed. A little French pastry, if you will, to Ian Desmond. Touches the bag.
Wow.
And a gorgeous 4-6-3 double play that Dodgers owner Irvin Magic Johnson would appreciate. Nice pickup by Desmond, too. That was low, and he was coming across the bag.
Tyler Clippard says, I threw that double play ball. Change up for a strike to Pedro Alvarez. How about that for the Nationals' 100th double play of the year?
That's an exclamation point. There's some special stuff going on all of a sudden.
Pedro Alvarez 2 for 3 today. Career against Clippard 0 for 5 with a walk. Change up. Bat gone by the time the ball got there. And the 0-2.
He just wanted to toy around with the split, throw it once. Probably go back to the changeup.
Right back to Clippard. He's going to throw another scoreless inning on 7 pitches. Well, nobody could make a play in the last half hour. Cabrera makes one of the great plays of the year. To Desmond, 4-6, and then over to 3 for an unbelievable double play.
On to their 2-run lead. Remember, our Washington, D.C. Lexus dealers are donating $250 to the Children's National Medical Center for every home run an Astros player hits this year. So keep them coming. It's for a wonderful cause, Lexus, the pursuit of perfection.
Jason Nix will bat ninth on a double switch and play third base for the Pirates, and they'll bring John Exford. They just picked him up on waivers 2 days ago from Cleveland.
And looking at the repertoire, fastball 95, slider 88, an occasional curveball at 77. So a 3-pitch guy. 51st appearance of the year for Exford. Opponents hitting .210, giving up 6 home runs.
Yeah, 10 saves for Cleveland. Nationals have not faced the Pirate closer in this series, Mark Melanson, who saved 12 games in a row.
Just like we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time. That's brought to you by Miller Lite. And the Miller moment in this one, well, he's been in a couple of them. As Drupal Cabrera, you see the hesitation. Ike Davis throws it right at his head. Probably really couldn't even see Russell Martin. And heads up base running and hustled by the scrappy Kevin Franzen. And 2-run score on the Pirates error, and this place went nuts. Absolutely nuts.
34,430 watching one of the wildest Sunday afternoons of the year in this town. Ian Desmond against John Exford here, bottom of the 8th. So the 3 games against the Pirates draw 113,255. An average of 37,751. What a turnout. Desmond, Harper, Ramos, bottom of the 8th.
I mean, this series has been unbelievable. We talk about the 3 games this weekend. The crowds have been fantastic. They've been back and forth affairs. 2 good teams going nose to nose.
No. 5-4, 4-3. Right now 4-2. Tight ball games.
Excitement, drama.
These 2 could see each other in a couple of months.
What else do you want?
Slider just missing. Great take by Ian Desmond.
I think even Anthony Rendon would have watched these games on TV.
Now that's funny. He might even record them. Desmond can't get the fastball upstairs. 1 out.
Your summer home for the future stars of the Washington Nationals, the Potomac Nationals. For tickets, call the number on your screen or go to the website, PotomacNationals.com.
Bryce Harper 0 for 3 today. Well, Span and Rendon, 3 hits combined today. They've scored 2 runs. Exford misses low and inside. Pirates, by the way, have 6, 7, and 8 due up in the 9th against Rafael Soriano. Right under his hands, and that was really a good take by Bryce.
It's a good take because it was a ball. It was down.
Yeah. One pitch. And Harper takes the fastball upstairs. And Bryce Harper down to first base with one out here in the 8th.
Well, I like that Bryce is taking his walks. That means he's seeing the baseball. He had that big walk last night in the bottom of the 9th to start things up, so he's starting to see it big.
Ramos 0 for 3. Robbed of a hit earlier, and a good play by Neil Walker. Ooh, got a fastball. 94, late for it. Up into the third deck on the right side. And the fastball is outside. 1-1. This left-hander Matt Thornton, in case the Nats take more than a 3-run lead. Soriano, you would think, if it's 3 runs or less. Former closer working extremely slow here. 2-1 to Ramos. Harper staying, and a bouncer to the right side. They'll go to short for 1, and a 4-6-3 will take this ball game right into the bottom of the 9th inning. Here we go. The Nats 4-2. Soriano looking for number 30. Nationals baseball on MASN, brought to you by Ocean City, Maryland. Put your vacation days to good use in Ocean City, Maryland. Look now at OCOcean.com. And by Navy Federal Credit Union. 4 million members, 4 million stories. Navy Federal Credit Union. We're not going to just show you that double play while we're running our sponsored billboards. FP's going to talk about that in a moment some more. It's a 4-2 game into the top of the 9th inning.
Well, it's something you practice in batting practice, and Cleveland fans know this. They've seen this a million times with Cabrera. He's not afraid to take a chance, and doing that in batting practice and doing it in the key situation of the game are two different things. But you watch how far he leans over for this ball. Well, that's the double play to end last inning.
Pirates have turned 2. The Nats one spectacular one today. Here you go again.
Well, you just really don't have a chance to shovel that. If you square your belly button up and your body to Ian Desmond, you take another 2 or 3 steps. Russell Martin can run. So, you know, you had a plus runner right there, and that was really his only choice. It just takes a lot of nerve, I guess, and a lot of guts to be able to do that in the big situation in the game. It was beautiful.
Starling Marte, a leadoff single against Soriano Friday night. So here's their matchup again. That was the only time they had ever met. And he throws it by him with 92 cutting away. Good looking pitch, he just missed.
And when it's down there, that's fine. I mean, he's getting on top, down the zone. And he gets into trouble when he goes a couple days in a row and starts elevating the ball out over the plate. That's when it gets hairy.
Great location away, and Marte able to foul it off. That was right toward the outside edge. The Nationals trying to make it a 6.5 game lead over Atlanta, pending the Braves against John Lester and the A's tonight. He had Marte reaching again.
Boy, if you can throw a slider off that and bounce it, you got him. He's going to swing. He's going to recognize the 3rd cutter in a row down and away. At least that's what he's going to think it is. If you can break off the slider and bounce it, should swing over the top.
Oh, and he hit him. Fastball up and in. He hits Marte. And that'll get the tying run into the batter's box for several hitters here.
Well, that was a perfect recipe to get drilled. Everything in the outer half. Marte leaning over to protect that cutter, and Soriano throws a 2-seamer that gets away. And leadoff man aboard for the Pirates.
Travis Snyder is next. Snyder hit a ground ball, retired by Soriano here Friday night. So against the Nats closer, career 0 for 3. Misses, ball 1. And a big-time rip by Snyder, who's hit 10 home runs.
Down the zone, get a ground ball, let that middle infield work for you again one more time.
Big crowd nervous. Nobody out. Top 9. that 91 right in there to even the count. Ball 3.
Oh, big pitch right here. You don't think Marte is going down by 2. Never know. I don't think I would send him. LaRoche playing right behind him, trying to keep him close to the bag. Trying to get range, too.
He's holding. And LaRoche hasn't hit his glove and going to right field. Oh, that's a double play if Adam grabs it. The ball was smoked. It's first and third, nobody out.
Well, here we go again. Clint Hurdle going to pinch run, get Martinez in the game, but you're right, that ball was absolutely smoked. Adam LaRoche almost in self-defense right there. Threw the glove up, he had no chance. First and third, nobody out.
Runner at third means nothing right now. It's all about Ike Davis and Soriano. And Davis' career 2 for 4 against him with a double and a pair of walks.
Well, we talked about the ice water in Soriano's veins on Friday. He's going to need it right here, right now.
And he misses with a fastball. Throws that ball away. And Ramos better get to it. The runner around second. Marte has scored. And Martinez at second base with nobody out.
Well, fans are letting him have it. It's the first time I've heard boos with Soriano on the mound this year, but this one nowhere near. I mean, you work all day to get the lead, and all of a sudden it's a one-run game with a runner on second base, nobody out, and a 2-0 count. Steve McCaddy going to come out and try to calm down his right-hander, but
they're getting Matt Thornton up again.
I mean, there's not a whole lot to say. You've seen it all year long. He's trying.
Pitcher spot usually would be next, but they made the double switch, and Jason Nix will be replaced by Gabby Sanchez in a moment. That's interesting. Nobody out, and the count 2-0 to Ike Davis, who has walked, hit 2 fly balls today, trying to pull something to move that runner or drive him in. And Soriano's not even making him think about swinging on the first 3 pitches. And he was pumping on 3-0.
Now Clint Hurdle being real aggressive right there, and you like the move. Trying to turn his number 8 hitter loose in a 3-0 count. Thinking about more than just moving the runner.
Now the lead runs on base.
I mean, there's going to be a time when Matt Williams is going to have to make a really tough decision. And he's pacing on the top step right now. Thornton's loose. Gabby Sanchez is right-handed, but you know, if it's not happening, it's not happening. And
now they're going to pinch run Jordy Mercer for Ike Davis. So there's Mercer at first. Gabby Sanchez will hit for Jason Nix.
I don't think they're bunting right here. They wouldn't have brought Gabby Sanchez up to bunt first and second. Nobody out.
He's had a good series, 3 for 6. All of those hits last night when he drove in 2, and there's a strike. Now, by the way, Sanchez hitting for the pitcher. They didn't do the double switch. They went straight up. That's a fair ball. Force out at third. Rendon couldn't get away from the runner Martinez. And a big first out for the Nats. We are seeing crazy things on the infield.
Good slide by Martinez at third base right there to break up the double play. Sanchez does run well, so he was getting it down the first base line. But if Martinez doesn't get on Rendon right here and thinks it's a foul ball and just stands around, this is a double play. So good slide by Martinez to break it up. And that was barely fair.
Top of the order, Gregory Polanco. Hits one to the gap, and it's off the scoreboard. Coming around is Sanchez, and the Nats mishandled the relay. The Pirates take the lead. It's a blown save for Soriano. That is Polanco's first hit of this series.
Well, we said the Pirates weren't going anywhere. They don't give up. And now they take the lead on a double by Polanco. And
this is a tough ballpark for a home player to ever be booed. But as Soriano leaves the mound, we might hear something here we have maybe never heard before. Unbelievable turns of events. Hey, don't forget, the home team still gets to hit now. Hits a batter, throws the wild pitch, gives up 2 hits and 3 runs to this point. It's all Matt Thornton now.
Yeah, look at all the fastballs from Thornton, 93% of the time. He's done a nice job, been a great pickup. Done nothing but pound the strike zone with a mid to upper 90s fastball.
Josh Harrison, the hitter, with 1 out. 3 runs in. Polanco at second. He had gone 0 for 11 in this series before that swing. And Thornton misses away. He pitched a 1-2-3 ninth inning last night, striking out Nix and Snyder, grounding out Martinez before the Nats walked off. Ball 2.
You know, the Nats had a chance to get Gabby Sanchez as he rounded third, but the relay throw was mishandled offline.
Yeah, he was really laboring as he lumbered around the bases there. And this ball into the right field corner. Slicing and out of play.
So the pitch was down and into Polanco. Watch him just drop his hands on it. Golf it almost in the right center field gap. And with Sanchez running from first, you know, Michael Taylor gets this off the wall quick. They had a chance. He wasn't even at third base right here, but the in-between hop that Cabrera couldn't handle. Ian Desmond backed out of the way, and you see that's probably the right timing of the play. Sanchez wasn't even near home.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Going to feel bad for Doug Fister. Battled unbelievably today to keep it where it was until the Nats took the lead. There's a 2-2 pitch. Another base hit. Harrison to left. Polanco around third. And Bryce Harper will hit the cutoff man. Play at second. And what is Harrison doing? The Nats cut the ball off and he still kept going. 7-5-4. And a big second out. Josh Harrison's limping off the field.
Yeah, he slid funny into second base, but Polanco tried to deke Bryce Harper. He slowed down to third. He almost took off and went to home. Watch him. He slows down right here. Watch him take off. And then Rendon sees that Harrison's going to second base, and Josh with an awkward slide. But a good job of hitting the cutoff man by Bryce Harper, giving Rendon a chance to get a free out.
2 outs. The hitter, Neil Walker.
You just wonder if Mark Melanson down the Pirates bullpen was thinking he'd have a chance for a save today. Is he ready?
As I mentioned, the Nats hadn't had to deal with him this entire series. There's a bouncer to Desmond. A nightmare of a top of the ninth is over. The Pirates score 3 runs, and now they have the lead, trying to salvage one. 3 outs to go.
Pirates with 3 up in the top of the inning after the Nats had scored 3 in the 7th. Johnny Holiday and Ray Knight, we invite you to stick around as we try to make some sense of has been a very unusual game today. We have never heard, as Bob just mentioned a few minutes ago, Ray, we've never heard the boos cascading down on any national player as we heard when Soriano left the field there. They were not happy, these fans.
No, these fans are very sophisticated. You'd be shocked at a town that has not had baseball for a long time, how sophisticated these fans are. They pay attention, Johnny, and they see what's going on. And, you know, when everybody out there is doing their job and making plays, and then when you don't make plays, you just continue to go out and win ball games. You know, they don't want to see failures. You know, they don't want to see
that. It's not like Soriano's not trying either. I mean,
no, he's busting his butt. He's busting his butt out there. But you know, he has been, you know, scuffling for some time. You know, holding people off base and trying to get clean innings, and he just hasn't had that. He's going through a rough spell. He is, and you know, maybe it's time to give somebody else a shot at that spot. You know, until he gets straightened out. I saw him do his arm like this as he was walking off the field. I don't know. You don't want to make an excuse for anybody, but it was an ugly ball game. This is ugly game.
Let's go right back upstairs to Bob and FP for the bottom of the night, guys.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Ray. Mark Melanson, 22 saves. There's Michael Martinez, stays into play left. Gabby Sanchez, first base. Melanson has 22 saves, 12 in a row, but he hasn't pitched in 5 days.
Yeah, fastball, cut the fastball, curveball, occasional changeup. You see the numbers, 54th appearance on the year. 22 for 25 in save opportunities. Lefties hitting 159, righties a little better.
Yeah, and he's the guy with Jason Grilli departed. 20 saves for Houston 3 years ago. 16 for the Pirates last year. And looking for his 23rd right here. So Michael Taylor in the number 8 spot. There's a story on deck. Jason Worth. And Melanson overmatches the rookie. 1 out.
Well, look who's about to stroll in the box.
Jason Worth is 0 for 2 career against Melanson.
That's got to make him feel good.
Jason Worth this year is a pinch hitter. 1 for 3.
Keep an eye on his swing. He's telling me the end of his swing with the 2 hands is when he really stretches that right shoulder and it kind of bites.
And Melanson missing in the dirt, 2-0. And Jason Worth taking the 92 cutting on a 2-0 pitch.
Well, usually you just see a cutter scoot across the plate. It's like a fastball will move away at the last second. Melanson's actually goes down and across and has some slider action to it at 92, 94.
And Worth, an easy take for him, 3-1.
Let it rip.
What a take. 3-1 pitch, just cutting outside. Tying runs the board with 1 out in the 9th. Top of the order, Span and Cabrera, so Melanson has a lot of work left here. DENARD Span is 0 for 3 career with a walk against the right-hander.
I'll tell you what, I'm looking at Gregory Polanco again tonight. He's got his heels on the warning track. If DENARD Span hits a ground ball through the right side, it's an easy first and third for Jason Worth. Yeah. This is where playing no doubles actually can get you in trouble as a defense if there's a ground ball through.
Span takes it off the plate, ball one.
Rally caps. They're not giving up.
These folks have seen a full afternoon and evening of baseball here.
Maybe a little more than they'd like to see.
I'd like to call it a roller coaster, but it's more like a tidal wave going in opposite directions at times. 1-0. Span takes a strike.
And Martin wanted that outside. It cut back right down the middle. Maybe a little lower than DENARD Span was looking.
Span unable to get to it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And now the third baseman, Jason Nix, can back up a bit. He was in the cut of the grass over there, playing Span extremely shallow. He backs up just beyond the baseline here. Short lead by Worth, and DENARD Span flips one foul left side.
Well, that's not really paying any attention to Jason Worth. I think what he's doing is just leaving that hole open for DENARD Span.
Target away, and that's the way DENARD takes the foul ball.
He's just so good with 2 strikes. The swing is so quick and so short. Nothing to it. And it's almost like he's taking the ball right out of the catcher's glove.
One on, one out. Bottom of the 9th. And Melanson pulling the string on him, and Span a great job of staying in there.
Just a little flick of the wrist, playing pepper. Deciding at the last minute that curveball might be a strike, and buys himself another pitch. Pitch number 7 coming.
And a chopper that goes foul.
Pitch number 8 coming. Starting to appreciate the battle that DENARD Span is waging right here.
Huge gap right center. A lot of room between short and third. Span, base hit right field. Worth wants to go to third, and there he goes. The tying run is 90 feet away.
What an at-bat. Go ahead and put this one on Masson Classic this fall. What a game. Well, we said Polanco's playing deep. He gave DENARD Span a lot of room in right field. Span not known for his pop to the pole side, and you knew anything that got through to the right side would be a first and third situation. Look how deep Polanco is. Jason Worth knew it. He saw him back there the whole at-bat, and it's an easy first to third. Runners at the corners, down by one, game on.
46th multi-hit game of the year for DENARD Span. Melanson behind the mound goes to the rosin bag. Martin has communicated with his infielders. Cabrera steps in 0 for 4. His ground ball 2 innings ago resulted in a bad throw and got the Nats back even and then ahead. So here we go again with 1 out, bottom of the 9th. Cabrera 0 for 1 career against Mark Melanson.
This is like a sloppy heavyweight fight. You got to get something elevated right here. Melanson going to keep the ball in on Cabrera, keep the ball down. His job is to fight to get his hands inside, use the big part of the ballpark. You got a good arm in center field. You got a good arm in right field. And you can run on the left fielder.
Outfield pretty shallow for Cabrera. And the 0-1, that's a base hit. The game is tied, and DENARD Span stops at second. Each closer blows a save in this one.
Unbelievable. I mean, this could be the game of the year.
Anthony Rendon will be next.
Well, you got two teams that just won't quit. That's all there is to it. Pirates won't quit. Nats won't quit. And this game is tied. Unbelievable.
Anthony Rendon 0 for 2 career against Melanson. Bob Henley right now communicating with DENARD Span at second. 5-9-2 Pittsburgh, 5-8-2 Washington.
This place is going nuts. I'm going nuts.
Rendon out to center, and the ball twisting away from Marte. He makes the catch at the end. Might have been knuckling on him. He had to make a last-second adjustment. 2 outs.
That was a horrible route by Starling Marte, and his athletic ability alone, he makes the play. He didn't look sure on this baseball, was hooking away from him the whole time. He kind of goes around the ball. Watch the route. Then he comes in at the last second and makes a shoestring play. Looked like the ball wanted to come out of the top of his glove. A lot of white showing. And what else do you want? I mean, this game has had drama upon drama upon drama. And DENARD Span was shuffling off. If that ball trickled loose, this game's over.
Here's Adam LaRoche. 0 for 2 career against Melanson.
Best game I've seen in a long time.
Adam has hurt the Pirates with 4 RBIs this weekend. He's been on base 6 times. .82, it's in there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Good pitch. Jason Orth got the walk. He scored on the Cabrera hit after scooting to third on the base hit by Span. And Adam LaRoche all locked up on a pitch in the dirt. Strike two.
The best thing about the Worth at bat, besides the one-out walk, was he didn't swing the bat. Now, who knows what happens to that shoulder if he lets loose in that 3-1 count. Check swing for ball four, but he didn't swing. 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pirates outfield cheating up. Span will get a good jump as soon as he sees LaRoche's hands go. Had a feeling you go back to that.
Now the Pirates came into this game 4 losses in a row since Melanson last saved a game 5 days ago. LaRoche takes strike 3. Fastball up in the zone. Adam hardly ever says a word to an umpire, discussing that one with Andy Fletcher. And this ball game is going to the 10th inning. 5-5, unbelievable battle today. Danny Espinosa takes over at second.
I see the fastball 86% of the time, 91 to 95. The breaking ball is a curveball. Throw occasional changeup. And when I said enjoy the ride a couple of weeks ago, I didn't know it was going to be this crazy. So buckle up. Hope you got your helmet on, and here we go. It's going to be a fun month and a half. And put fun in air quotes, too. This has been outstanding.
Pirates in the top of the 10th. We'll have Russell Martin, Jason Nix, and Starling Marte. Ross Detweiler, first appearance of this series. And Martin against Detweiler, career 1 for 4 with a pair of bases on balls. He's 1 for 4 with an RBI today. And Ross Detweiler misses inside, 2-0. Chopper off the plate, and it's foul. Good thing, would have been a base hit. From a rough afternoon for the defense to an exhilarating come from behind win that was in the Nats' grasp, to a devastating loss, and now to a tie game.
It was come from behind, come from ahead, then come from behind. And now Ross Detweiler trying to get him right back in the dugout and keep that momentum wearing a red jersey.
Yeah, Desmond, Harper, Ramos, bottom of the 10th. That's 93, making its way down and into a right-handed batter.
That's a cutter right there from Ross, and it was a good one. Good downward plane to it. Started out as a strike, broke off the plate. Watch the action on this. Slider action almost.
And a 2-2. Another ball that hits near the plate or on it, and another foul. Ross now pitching well lately. He has his career relief ERA down to 2.51. 1.95 since the end of May. And that's ball 3. Martin out to Desmond on a couple of hops, and he guns it to LaRoche. First out, top 10. Extra innings, by the way, the Pirates are 7-5 this year, 2-3 on the road. The Nationals are 5-8, 1-5 at home. They won an extra inning game recently to finally get off that offer. And next up will be Jason Nix, facing Detweiler for the first time.
Strike one, so key out of the bullpen. I mean, it's always a big deal, but when you come out of that pen, you got to be in that strike zone. Been change up right there from Ross at 86. Nicely done.
He's not just a fastball guy anymore.
It's real easy, slow delivery. Stays all compact, and then boom, 95 on you.
On you, yeah. A's did not score in the top of the first against Mike Minor in Atlanta.
They didn't? What are you thinking?
They're about to put John Lester on the hill, trying to salvage a game in that series with the Braves. And a ball well hit to left by Nix. Harper back. He has it at the base of the wall.
Get your heart rate up for a second. Really didn't have the sound, but the swing was compact. Maybe got it down the label just a little bit, and you're wondering, is this going to carry out of here? And Bryce Harper right up against the wall makes the play. I honestly don't know if I can handle much more of this. Seriously.
Well, you're not going anywhere. Big swing by Starling Marte. You know what he's thinking with 2 outs now.
Bunt single?
Nope.
Hit by pitch?
No, they drilled him last time, not on purpose. That was the start of Soriano's undoing in the 9th. 2-2 pitch. Got him. And the roof fell in from there. Base hit. Guy who was thinking home run does a good job of going down and getting one. And the next hitter will be Michael Martinez. First at bat, came into pinch run in the 9th inning for Travis Snyder.
Well, now you got to keep 23 stolen bases close at first. You would think that Marte is off to the races sometime here.
Yeah, 23 out of 31. Martinez hits it right at Danny Espinosa.
You got to give Marte a chance to steal second right there. You can't swing at the first pitch.
You're right, puzzling. Ian Desmond leads off. Harper, Ramos, bottom of the 10th.
That's really not fair because we've all aged about 4 years watching this one. 5-5 as we head to the bottom of the 10th inning. We're going to catch you up and show you the day that Asdrubal Cabrera has had. He's had some big at-bats. The trickler down the first baseline that Ike Davis throws away. Kevin Franzen with the heads-up base running. That was a couple of runs. Franzen all fired up and firing everybody else up in the ballpark, too. And then the clutch knock in the bottom of the 9th, scoring Jason Worth, who walked with one out, advanced to third on the DENARD span single, and everybody having fun with this one. But Asdrubal Cabrera out of the game now. Danny Espinosa at second base. But what a day for Cabrera. Very eventful. And don't forget the behind-the-back feed on the double play.
Yeah, that was Brent Morrell, who the Pirates called up today when they DL'd Charlie Morton. And then the Nats will see 25-year-old Brandon Compton for the first time. 9th round selection. 4 years ago, 6 games, 5 starts for the Pirates last year. And for Pittsburgh, this will be his 12th ball game. He's made 10 starts, so he's kind of back and forth between the rotation and the bullpen. Ian Desmond, Bryce Harper, Wilson Ramos, bottom 10.
They are going to see a fastball, a slider, and a changeup, and the fastball average is 93.
By the way, in their joint efforts to try to close the game for their ball clubs tonight, Rafael Soriano and Mark Melancon threw a total of 49 pitches. Soriano 25, Melancon 24. Ian Desmond out to short. On the move, Josh Harrison. 1 out. Next up, Bryce Harper.
Well, he did it in the 13 against the Mets the last homestand.
Nats haven't had a 10-inning extra inning game since July 12th at Philadelphia. Everything else has been pretty much of marathon nature this year. Ooh, Harper got a fastball, 94 right down the middle.
Well, the first pitch Bryce thought was in. They pound him in with a fastball and tails away, and the second one runs back for a strike. Got a pitch right there.
Right down the middle again. Harper gone. 2 outs in the 10th.
Boy, that's some serious execution by Brandon Compton right there. Going in on Bryce Harper with a 2-seam fastball. All 3 pitches on the inner half, and he front hips him right here. Brings it back perfect. That's a strike.
Wilson Ramos 0 for 4 today. Up the middle, looks good. Winning runs aboard. Now they'll bring in Danny Espinosa, who came into play second base in the top of this inning. And he'll be batting left-handed, of course.
Well, if you're thinking about a pinch runner, Hairston and Lobaton, the only extras left.
Yeah.
There they are. Nice salvage for Wilson. 0 for 4 to a 1 for 5.
That one stays inside. Inside. 2-0.
Like that. Pulling words out of my dictionary now.
And Atlanta just failed to score in the bottom of the first.
I'll look at that game when I get home. He's not afraid to pitch in, is he? The whole Pirates staff not afraid to pitch in.
Espinosa pops it up. Russell Martin turns and catches the foul ball. The Nats have stranded 9. The Pirates 7. We're going to the 11th. 5-5.
Yeah, follow every Nationals game with MLB.com app on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replays, scores, stats, audio, extra inning games, everything on MLB.tv, game of the day and more. Download on the App Store. Visit Nationals.com today.
For the Pirates, Brent Morrell is already in the ball game, playing third base. Will be the first hitter. Top of the 11th. Nats saw him a couple years ago with the White Sox. He was there 2010 through last year. 228 career hitter. And he was hitting 251 with 45 RBIs at Indianapolis when the Pirates recalled him today. Earlier in the year, he went 3 for 16 with 3 RBIs in 9 games. Desmond circles behind it with the backhand, makes a nice exchange. 1 out. Ross Detweiler retiring for the 5 he's faced.
I got the sinker going nice.
That'll bring in Gabby Sanchez.
My scorecard's about 1 inning away from being a science project. Sure, yours is fantastic.
Well, we'll keep track of it. We went 1 inning beyond the limit this year in Milwaukee. There's Gabby Sanchez, who is 1 for 6 career with a double against Ross Detweiler. Another one for Ian Desmond. Ross Detweiler has thrown 4 ground balls of his 5 outs. Not much left in the bullpen. Craig Stammen went 3 innings and threw 31 pitches last night. Jerry Blevins, Drew Storm. So Ross Detweiler may be around for a while. He's due to bat 3rd in the bottom of the 11th. Maybe there'll be 2 on, nobody out. He can lay down a bunt. Fastball outside. Nate Freeman has hit a home run for the Oakland Athletics. His 3rd of the year, 1-0. Top of the 2nd.
That boy Nate.
And Detweiler over but low.
Pretty good pitch right there. I don't know where that missed. Wilson Ramos turned around and have a little chat with Andy Fletcher.
We'll check on it. Could be Freeman, could be Fryman. He is a native of Washington, D.C. Just hit a homer against the Atlanta Braves.
So even more reason to get it right.
We're checking. F-R-E-I-M-A-N. Ross Detweiler, 3-1 now. And he jams Polanco, who fouls it hard off his leg.
It kind of tells you about the movement of the Ross Detweiler sinker right now. It's running all over the place.
It is Nate Fryman who hit that home run for the Oakland Athletics. Polanco, the big double in the 9th. That put the Pirates on top.
15 pitches, 11 strikes last inning. Adam LaRoche right there. That was a fair ball when he caught it. Another scoreless frame for Ross Detweiler. It'll be Worth, Span, pitcher spot, bottom 11 ahead. Well, we hope that's a rally kid. Bottom of the 11th coming up. 5-10-2 Pirates, 5-9-2 Nationals. Where do you begin to describe what happened for both teams in the 9th inning today?
Soriano not on his A game, I think is an understatement today. Gave it up. And Polanco goes shopping at the gap. That gave them the lead. So you're thinking 5-4, okay. That's doable, and I guess is as droopable right there with the base hit to tie this one at 5, and that's where we're at. Both teams, you got to tip your cap to both teams. They've fought, scrapped, clawed, done whatever you had to do to win a ball game today. It's been fun to watch. It's been fun to be a part of. Can't lie.
Jason Worth, second at bat. Saw him score. He walked with one out in that 9th in a pinch hitting appearance. DENARD Span on deck. Outside, 2-0.
Well, he was Larry leadoff in 2012, and right now he's going Larry leadoff mode right here in the 11th.
Cracks it hard and it hooks into the seats. Look out.
Look out. That's why you bring your glove.
Guy in the Bryce Harper jersey got it on the rebound. Worth hits it hard. That ball's taken off, and it is off the wall. Martinez slams into the wall. Worth around second will hold. That ball was an absolute rocket, and the winning run's at second base.
I mean, you're playing no doubles. And Martinez is as deep as he can be in left field, and Jason Worth still hit it over his head for the 28th double of the year, a leadoff double. And 2 missiles off the bat of Jason Worth. 1 foul, and this one fair. Any elevation, and we're going home. Good effort by Martinez, but he really had no chance. That ball beat him early, and he just trying to hold Jason Worth to a double.
You know, Martinez is lucky that ball hit the wall and then hit his foot. If that thing comes flying back toward the infield, Worth might have been able to go to third. It hit the wall, hit the player, and stayed relatively close to him. What a swing. What a piece of contact by Jason Worth.
Yeah, he looks good to me. Now it's decision time. Do you let DENARD span swing away? Do you bump Worth to third?
Hairston on deck for Detweiler here.
That's where you might take into consideration letting DENARD swing, just because you have the right-on-right matchup with a guy who hasn't been in the game on deck. I let DENARD hit.
DENARD 2 for 5 tonight. Singles his last 2 times up. No signs of squaring around. Ball 1.
It's a good play. Whether it works or not, it's a good play right now. You have your best hitter up. DENARD Span is your best hitter. He's trying to pull the ball, and right now Gabby Sanchez is on the grass. There's all kinds of holes on the right side.
Yeah. And you've got 3 shots to drive in the guy from second.
Normally you got a bunt right here 99% of the time, but not with the way this guy's swinging. Got to let him have it.
High and tight, ball 2. And if you're the Pirates, walking Span would be better than giving in to him.
Boy, you know, if you're Matt Williams right here and DENARD reaches, you might think about having a pitcher bump guys over.
Yeah, that's a thought.
Tanner Roark grab a bat. You never know.
Tie game, bottom of the 11th. Span takes the high strike.
No, you don't want that.
Similar to the one called on Adam LaRoche back in the 9th.
It looked high to me. Let's see what pitch track says. That's up.
Yeah.
It's a pop-up if you swing. You don't want that.
Fastball in there.
Well, it's just so hard to tell yourself as a hitter to pull the trigger on that fastball. Not only is it a 2-seamer right at you, it's 94. Another borderline pitch goes the Pirates' way, and DENARD Span got a big pitch coming. It'd be tough to go pull mode with 2 strikes.
Way inside, ball 3.
Huge pitch coming.
Span, that'll move the runner. Gabby Sanchez to the bag. Worth 90 feet away from a win with 1 out.
Nicely done. Get some high fives back in his dugout. Hey, it's not easy when you get to 2 strikes to do what he just did. And now this is where, as a manager, you have your choice. If you have confidence in your pitcher throwing strikes, you can look down the list and decide who you want with 2 bases open. You would think Clint Hurdle would go after Scott Hairston right here with the right-on-right matchup. But now you got to bring your infield in. That opens up some holes. Your outfield's going to cheat in. That opens up some holes. You got a pretty good runner at third base in Jason Worth that I don't think will be going on contact. We'll see.
Scott Hairston, not a lot of pinch hits this year, 4 for 30, but he's made them count. 1 of them a home run. He has 4 RBIs. Pirates outfield has to come in.
Good arm in center. Good arm in right.
Hairston lifting one to left. It looks deep enough. Here comes Worth. He will score. The Nationals win. They win a thriller, a classic, and it's 6 in a row for DC.
Enjoy the ride, folks. It's happening. You just don't know how hard that is, coming off the bench cold turkey, getting the first fastball you see, and lifting it deep enough to win this game. Great at-bat off the bench by Scott Hairston. Great at-bat by DENARD Span, getting Jason Worth to third. Great at-bat by Worth to get this going, and couldn't have said it any better, partner. An absolute classic, one of the best games I've seen in a long time, and good teams take 2 out of 3. Great teams sweep, and yeah, I said it. Right now, they're great.
A perfect week for the Nats. 3 in a row at New York, 3 at home against the Pirates. And that can be posted on the board down in Atlanta right now. Here's Dan with Scott Hairston.
Bob here with Scott Hairston, who got the drama over with early. 1 pitch and you get the job done. Be honest with me, what's your heart rate like when you step into the batter's box in that situation?
Yeah, it's pounding. I mean, you want to get the job done, and I was thankful that DENARD got the runner over. And it was a good collective win tonight.
You watched it from the dugout the entire time, like fans watched it at home and they watched here in your seats. Was it as much fun for you to watch that game play out as it was for everybody else?
Absolutely, yeah. It was pretty nerve-wracking a little bit, but yeah, it's just, we're an exciting team, and we stay in it all the way. Great teams come back, and we've done that the last couple of days.
What stands out about the comebacks to you? That probably feels pretty good right now.
Yeah, that feels great.
What multiple comebacks in this game? What stands out to you about the approach, the way that you guys all went about it?
Well, I think offensively we've had great at bats all game, and that's what we need to do to keep winning. Our pitchers keep us in there. Ross came out, pitched 2 great innings. That's what we need from him, and he's been doing it all year. So, like I said, it was a great team win.
You guys having any fun yet?
Absolutely. This is great. I'm sure the fans are too.
Thanks for the time, Scott. Congratulations.
You're welcome.
Bob, back up to you.
Well, we mentioned Scott Hairston. Not a lot of pinch hits this year, but he has 5 pinch RBIs, and that one is a game winner. The Nats will welcome the Diamondbacks in for 4 tomorrow, and they are on a big-time roll. 16 over 500 in their first 6-game winning streak of the season. For Dan and FP, Bob Carpenter, this has been a Masson presentation. Stay tuned, Johnny and Ray. I don't know if 30 minutes will be enough for those guys. A lot to talk about. And from the booth at Nationals Park, see you later.